Now the show is starting.
Isn't
Hello,
there a
everybody.
song about cherry wine in Victor Victoria?
I am not an expert on Victor Victoria law.
More's the pity.
I've seen the movie based on the play. I've never seen the play.
Nor have I. More's.
I think it started as a play, right?
So,
welcome to Talk About Werewolves.
This is talk about musicals as far as I'm concerned.
welcome to Talk About Werewolves.
Your host with the most.
I'm Brian, Anus T. APOC. With me is...
Anus T.
I love you guys.
Bucky, I help.
Iggy,
I try.
Iggy, I don't. I do not.
But more than some.
So,
I do the opposite.
For tonight's show, we're just going to let go and just see where the conversational winds take us.
Whereas before we had a structured format that we adhered to with rigidity.
Very seriously organized, usually.
We were talking.
Before we start all that, please. What's everybody drinking?
Oh, good.
Because we are gonna get fucked.
So I'm drinking coffee with Talister Dark Storm.
Some people may hate you for mixing that with Timmy Hose.
Probably, yeah.
Bucky? Is that high end?
Well,
is CJ gonna be mad?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know if our viewers are going to notice, but I've lost a fair bit of weight, and unlike most people who are successful on a diet, this is a long, bageless march to death, and the only reason I'm doing it is because my doctor told me I had to. So I'm drinking water and coffee.
That sucks to be you, dude.
Sugar or anything.
I'm drinking this lovely local cherry wine with ice cubes and frozen cherries inside.
I just love when people post about this stuff and they're like, I've never felt better. It's like, sure, I've got more energy. Which I would love to use going to a buffet, eating anything that isn't a salad. Anything.
Christ almighty.
You need a fucking octopus that's still alive.
So, for tonight, we're calling tonight our season finale because this will probably be our last show for the next couple months. July is very busy with all of us, and then August I'm going to be traveling for the eclipse. So we're probably not going to be back.
I think I'm the only person not doing extensive travel.
I'm going to be pretending to be something just so I can hit people with sticks in the SCA. Pensick, check it out, everybody. It's the best place to buy garb.
How many people did you put in the hospital in the last week?
That was Dagga here, and we're not talking about that in a place where it might be actionable.
Oh, I see. That's fair. Don't you sign waivers for that?
Yeah, waivers. Yeah,
well, I mean,
that indemnifies me.
There are good waivers, just most
not
people
there.
Don't have them.
Not there.
I actually wrote up the local.
So waivers are good when you write them. Got it.
When you get an actual lawyer, as opposed to just downloading something off the internet and be like, this makes us legally bulletproof. It's a private club and a sport. We can do whatever we want. You can't, and I hope you get sued out of existence because you should be hiring a lawyer. It's why we exist. We made the rules.
Shut up.
So let's do a quick lap of the IC situation the last couple weeks since we've been on the air. The run-up to National is firing along strong.
When is National?
It is in July.
Where?
Austin.
That's Austin.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I was literally for a second like, I could just do a surprise appearance at National and just show up and do it. Where is it?
Austin.
Yeah. Have you seen the pictures of what's happening in Arizona? Plastic mailboxes and shit are just melting. Why the fuck would I go anywhere near that? Austin, Texas.
Because you really want to support John and the awesome work he's going to do in the APOC event?
I thought that was in Mescon.
That is Mescon.
I thought that was in Colorado.
No!
Oh.
Too many conventions.
Sorry, John. I stay in the air conditioning.
Yeah, no.
I would melt like a snowman in July. There would just be a puddle with a mustache. And people would be like, there lies Bucky.
We can't go south of the wall except for once a year.
Somebody lives in Lincoln, Nebraska where they're getting the full total eclipse.
Yeah, I'll be in Nashville for what it's worth. It's about the area of highest totality. Should be about, I think, 90 seconds of totality. Should be good.
Why?
Because it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Well, you're doing
Is it?
Yeah.
It's literally
it's
once in a
99 years till the next one. So
Didn't it happen like 6 months ago?
Not a full solar eclipse.
Not full solar.
We had a full lunar eclipse a few months
Lunar
ago.
eclipse happen all the time, like every year almost.
What's the difference?
One is at night, one is at day.
Don't even humor him when he says that. That is such nonsense. Anyway, my wife's I'm actually free that week.
If your werewolf
because I'm soulless and just going to be at work.
If your Rokea is born during the eclipse, then what is it?
Special?
The solar eclipse? Nothing. They don't even notice. They care about the moon, just like everybody else.
No.
If you're born during a lunar
No, it's a question of whether he's bright water or dark water.
Oh, is it sun-based? I don't even know. Where Sharks Man?
No, it's... Yeah.
See? Bringing the heat when it comes to questions.
Yeah, let's see what else we got going on. So we have our first tribal moot going on right now. Erica and the guys in the Great Lakes are running that. It's proceeding. People.
I've heard things.
Well, it was nice. It was nice to dry run some of the stuff we want to do politically for national. That was nice. It's good to see these going on. I hope we get more of these tribal moots going on, and it's really good to have local and regional running them because it spares us from having to hire more people at national and lets me keep the team focused and tight.
I'm going to continue to claim that one of the reasons you're in the chair you're in was running fantastic Strider moots and bringing a sort of a new methodology for doing them.
Never heard of it.
I really want to see more people embrace that method.
Well, and that's the great thing. Is by getting more people to
not
run.
to flatter you.
No, but I mean, but getting more people to run that, we're giving more chances to reveal talent. Like getting people to get a national spotlight that would normally get.
There is no talent. This is a pointless search. Just everybody go back to your business.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Somebody flipped his switch to morose.
Yeah. I thought we were going to try to avoid tribal-focused proxies. In so much as national won't be running them, but if local, we're going to be running. There will be concordant and sanctum-based proxies for moots late in the year. We're going to try to do one of those a year. Cool. But for the tribal one, if people want to organize them locally or regionally, we'll support that, and they can go nuts with it. It's up to the players to organize it.
I've been real quiet on the board since they sort of opened, but I would love to be a part, both as my main with Red Talons. I think there's a lot of great player talent there, and I would like to see them actually beyond just single format emails and like the one time I got to bump into a couple people at a convention. You know, you get to actually sit, have conversations with people, and sort of explore the role-playing aspect of the game rather than just the sheet maintenance.
The two moots I'd be most excited to see are honestly Glasswalkers and Red Talons. Those are the two tribes I'd be very interested to see what happens.
Silverfang moot's going on right now, and it's actually.
You were in that mood, right?
I'm in.
You have a player in that. You have a character in that mood.
I have a character in that mood. My character is the Philodox Alexander Bryce Singh, and he is running the Philodox tourney.
Oh, you're running the Philodox tourney. Awesome. How's it going? I mean,
actually,
you're proxy locked. You can't really talk about it, but
actually, the idea I had for the tourney, I was like, it's one of those things where it could go super bad or super good, and it really depended on the level of like skillful writing or the willingness to write.
Right.
Of the players.
There's so many things to do.
Yeah, I know. And then, like, the first two players to hit it up knocked it out of the park, so I'm no longer afraid.
Okay.
So it's like...
That's always a good moment.
I'm like, how is this going to go? Oh, swimmingly. I'm a genius. I'm taking all the credit for that. I'm internalizing it.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Sing them out.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I was involved in a side scene, and this is going to sound incredibly arrogant even for me, so like brace yourself.
Okay.
I'm rarely surprised by a turn of events or a character question or comment. Like, I'm rarely like completely thrown for a loop.
Okay.
But one of the characters I was interacting with, the PC, the other one's an NPC. The PC I was interacting with asked my character something so completely left field but sensible that I'm like, why don't we and I wish I could talk more about it. But it's been years since I could say I've been completely blindsided by something in a game, and I'm wrecked. Did not see that coming.
Wow.
Especially in front of the person he said these things these things about.
Yeah.
A level of icy bravery that, because he did not specifically lower his voice. The NPC heard. A level of icy bravery I did not expect, and just completely mind-blowingly shocking. I loved it. Loved being shocked. It was good. One post out of nowhere. My character had to respond, can I get the rest of the moot to reply to this? Because, fuck, I don't know.
It's because even old fogies can learn.
Oh, no, I am wearing the Incredible shirt because I am, in fact, Mr. Incredible.
Really? You're Mr. Incredible.
Have you seen me bench press a train? It was actually a floor press.
I'm wearing the Punisher shirt because...
You like to beat to death child molesters with a baseball bat?
Because in memoriam, 1997, never forget.
What?
That's when the Punisher died.
Yeah, and then they made Franken Punisher. Frankencastle.
Then they made a bunch of other crap.
Frankencastle was the shit. Shut up.
Countdown to...
My shirt is a quiet meditation on the ancient world of which our modern world is built upon. It is very deep and t-shirty.
We're talking about our shirts. We're all wearing graphic tees, finally.
This has never happened, literally.
Finally. It's usually...
Hey, what's your favorite Bronte sister? Diplodocus?
Diplodocus! Inside jokes, yes.
That's what really gets the audience
You
in.
nearly seized when we did that.
That was amazing. Yeah, that was good.
The NFL has that sort of dark power. Like 75 days till season start.
Football time.
Oh yeah, we're already discussing changes to our league. I don't like points per reception.
Oh, we're dropping PPR this year. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it. A lot of people prefer it. I don't like a PPR league.
I thought we were trying to avoid tribe-focused proxies. I don't know if that's true, but I'm in one and it rules.
Well, moots are good proxies because they're role playing. I mean, a lot of the other tribal stuff, at least in Last Chronicle, was all of Tribe X wants to go to location Y and kill thing Z. Who wants to gamble their sheet?
That's one thing we're not going to see anymore. Yeah. It's but tribal interactions and building that optional tribal connectivity is very important to a shared chronicle. It's something that has to exist.
Especially if you want to be something other than the beater. If you're
Yeah.
If you're a social character, you need every opportunity to have social RP because beater characters get their proxies. They're gonna get their proxies. They will always get their proxies, and they will laisser les bon temps roulés, roll their character, and come back with glory or new sheet.
Yeah.
So that's fine. But the social characters need their proxies to do it. And they need kind of a safer proxy, and I mean safer in like physical, but not social repercussions. They need their arena to play with, and one of the best arenas to play with is in your tribe. It's why we have them. If we had auspice moots, I'd be about it.
I think different. Like I know in if there is a Red Talon moot, right, I would be super psyched about it. But I would walk in knowing full well that there is not a high likelihood, but there is a definite chance that I would be killed. Because I represent a very not okay, like, type of Red Talon.
Absolutely. Well, actually, one of the things my character wants to do is something the tribe would hate. I think most characters have one or two things like that. I mean, one really, because it makes you not like I am full Silverfang automaton. Like one thing, and if it ever like I'm gonna push it, and if I get pushed back on it, I'm not gonna. That's my line. This is the thing I'm doing, and you guys can kill me or you can accept it.
Right.
The Glasswalkers are building a database of assholes. You spell it IGGY. I am a cock. Like, it's bad.
It's good.
Have you ever actually had to say Iggy with two G's?
Oh my god, yes.
Really? Is there a
Who's
U with one?
spelling it Iggy?
What?
Iggy?
Who's spelling it with one G?
The same people who call it Igor. Igor. It's Igor.
You look like an Igor.
I do not.
No, you don't.
I don't even look like an Iggy. Much to some neo-Nazis' consternation.
Do they know your real name?
No.
Okay.
But
I won't.
But they now know what I really look.
I won't talk.
But
about
they now they know what I really look like, and they're upset.
Well, as well they would be.
At some point, we did an overview of a tribe breed. Well, I think we've done all of them.
We're
We've
gonna
just
do them all
lost some of
again.
them.
Well, yeah, we lost 7 episodes.
7 episodes. Yeah.
Somebody has them. I'm positive. They just don't want to share. They're hoarding them like gold.
Okay, so next season.
And so in the zombie apocalypse, they can use the sounds of our voices to keep warm and survive the nuclear winter.
That's good. That's good.
So
This will be all that survives of Western civilization.
which would be great. We were talking. We're like, how much more do we have to cover? And then I was like, Brian, we really only talked about one hospice.
If you can make
in like a year.
If you can make a single change to the setting, seeing it now in action, what would those be?
I have a response to that. Do you guys want to get that first?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I would have ties of honor between some of the Sanctum of Gaia tribes and some of the Farah, so that there is more of a political pull other than necessity to make them, like, for example, like have the Silverfangs be really close to the Korax, and it's just like, we don't want the Farah in, but we really do want the Korax in, and then have like the Black Furies be like, we don't want the Farah in, but we have a huge hard-on for having the Ajaba in. And like every one of them has one Farah they want to let in, but they don't want to let any of the others in. And so like they're trying to pull in an ally while push away people they want to keep at a distance. I think that would have been a great balance.
Political borders were very neat. They were...
You know, honestly, if we're talking about setting, that is actually the thing I would change. Is much like in Vampire, the mechanics in BNS Apocalypse are very tied to the setting itself, which is difficult because the setting itself is dynamic. If you had picked any year in the past 15 years besides the year the book was released, by their chronology, there would have been a different IC situation. So we do want to have a lively IC world that has dynamic change, but the book gives us a very particular situation to start out with that's backed up by mechanics. Now, obviously, we're going to be making those changes as we go on. The world is alive, but it does mean more work for my team. So I would say that would be the thing I would do, would uncouple setting and mechanics a little bit more if I were doing it over again. But that would really be my big change.
You could say the same thing about Vampire as well.
Yeah.
BNS in general.
Yeah.
But that was their design logo.
I'd like to state now that I'm almost certainly not going to be playing Vampire, so don't get your jelly in my peanut butter, bro.
Too bad. We're gonna wear red hats to the announcement of Changeling.
That's completely different. That's a fun game.
That would be my big change. So it's just decoupling the setting from the mechanics a little bit more, just to give us a little more room to work as storytellers.
What would I change?
About the setting, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, if you had asked me a year ago, I would have given you a huge list of things that they changed from Revised that I didn't understand why they did them. But having been living and breathing the game for the last 8 months...
Living and breathing.
Factually true.
Yeah.
Notice how he doesn't say sleeping.
No. Living and breathing, I can say that most of the changes they made do make sense, or at least make the game more interesting. Like things like destroying the Karens and the Bitten, I didn't really agree with at first, but do make for a more interesting game world. And I'm okay with anything that makes the game world more interesting.
Everyone has touched the Codex. Have you seen the tribe books? Yeah, I've taken a look at the tribe books.
There's soft ties between like the Ajaba Black Fury tie. It's there. I mean,
the Ajaba Black Fury tie is just fucking common
but they
sense.
should like kind of dialed those up. But as to what I would treat regional stuff, I'm still on that.
Yeah, that's good.
There's a ton of local positions which are incredibly important. Sept positions are super well laid out. The rules are very. I will say, to the devs, they did an admirable job of making a really artificed rule set with the opportunity for it to change within its own rules, so they can grow and expand and add new rules. There's a rich national setting, right? You've got your tribal council and all that stuff. In the middle, though, and while I hope players move to fill it in by just making shit up so that these positions exist, there is a regional gap, right?
Yeah.
And some of the tribes have their regional gap fillers, or sort of, kind of, like, I think the Get still have, like, their Jarl guys and stuff. Like, some of the tribes have some shit that's sort of regional, but, like, it would have been nice if the nation recognized that there was something between the local game in Poughkeepsie and the legends that you work for. That they're...
I am Bob, Adrian, leader of this minuscule shared cairn, and I am only answerable to Sabine herself.
Right.
Like, really, dude? There's no middle management.
Like,
I realize there's like 3 of us left, but there's no middle management.
Silverfangs, there's some there's some stuff, but all of the stuff is tribal stuff. There's no generalist, like, hey, what happens when 2 dudes between 2 cairns get in a fight? Like, we just dial it in. I mean,
that was mentioned in the Philodox boards before the game started, and nothing has come of it since. And I think that it's incumbent to the players. It's on us.
Like I said, I hope the players do it.
Oh, it's coming.
If I was going to change I would have put at least a scaffolding. Put other stuff.
No, that scaffolding. What you see is a lack of scaffolding. I see as a room to build.
I mean, that is the thing. A lot of players, I think, are. I hate using the word train because it's insulting. I don't mean it to be insulting. But habitualized, normal, whatever. Institutionalized to believe that they...
Fucking the joint.
Or an institutional memory.
Yeah, that they shouldn't try... That there are certain things they shouldn't even think about trying to do, and so they just kind of delete that from their character possibilities. I will say that I think that's something they should not be doing. I think, while national or regional or local will say no to a lot of things, asking is important because... Sometimes you'll have an idea that works, and the NPC powers that be will be willing to support it. The big thing I would say with that would be, as Iggy was saying, is the nation in its current state is only about 10 years old,
and it's untenable.
Well, we're in a lot of ways. The nation right now is I see a connection between a nation unable to govern itself 10 years after revolution, and think about the United States in that period.
This is the Articles of Confederation. This is the League of Nations. Now, either we come together and make a constitution, or we make a UN, or we fall to pieces. And I love the idea, because Colin Manley is right. Chaos is a ladder, Bucky.
Well, no. That's fine. The only thing is, I don't know if
But
the example is apt, because it would be like if we lost the revolution.
No, we
Because-
survived the revolution.
But either way, this isn't
Right.
something that National will dictate. We're perfectly happy to run the game out of the book. But if players tried to come together to do a lot of those things, I think there'll be opportunity to work on some of that at National.
There's an opportunity to work on that if you just go to your local games,
Yeah,
not just
yeah.
the one you're going
There you
to.
go.
For example, I'm going to try to make it out into Toronto. I'm going to find the Truth Catcher there, and I'm going to try to set something up between the two of us, because our games are an hour apart. We have abutting jurisdictions, and I would like to get some issues straight.
It's good.
Fair enough.
And there were probably 6 or 7 ways Farah could be integrated into the nation that I can think of off the top of my head. Like just general schemas of how it could work. That's not something I can dictate or National can dictate.
Literally every tribe in the Sanctum of Gaia has a Farah type where it's just like,
That at least are acceptable.
they're cool. So you just need to make some sort of... There's nothing that's impossible here.
Even the Get,
Yeah.
who famously hate most Farah, like
Love Korax.
Kork's cool, Odin like them, and for some reason that matters. So we're cool.
Well, and counter... Oh my god, I've been drinking. Counter... Whatever. As a counter example to
That's
this...
Halisker will get you, bro.
Jack Callister will get you. The counter to that is the fact that while there are Sanctum tribes, almost all of them have a Farah breed that they would love to have in the nation. The Sanctum of Gaia on the Concordant of Stars, on the other hand...
We gonna put this... Are you driving?
No, I'm not driving.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm driving.
Yeah. The Concordant, on the other
Thankfully, I
hand,
shouldn't drink.
in a lot of ways reminds me of Republicans in the 90s on social issues, where they need to look like they're supporting these things to stay in power, but they actually don't really want these things to happen.
Ooh, that is...
It's-
I will say that is accurate and scathing.
It is. It's Big Tent politics it's the Big Tent politics of the Democratic Party. Because what is a
Oh, there you go. It's the other way.
Yeah,
around.
because what is a union trucker from Buffalo who goes hunting and attends Catholic Mass every Sunday really have in common with an NYU professor NYU professor who was of the Libby's Libs in Antigone? Like, they have nothing in common other than they dislike the Republicans for various reasons. The only thing holding them together is a knowledge that if they separate, they lose to people that they hate.
Mm-hmm. And those are
Also apt.
those
and
are
scathing.
those are good things to be thinking about. I dare not say any more without spoiling National Event, but that's something really to think about.
So, no, but I want to get back to my point.
Yeah.
Find the games that you're close to but not local at. Go to those games. Hash out your jurisdiction issues.
Try visiting the online areas.
Juris
I mean, I
my
haven't done it, but I've
diction.
been terrible. I've just been bad at everything when it comes to attendance. I've been all over the map.
Thank you. Stolen a couple of your concept callouts. I've taken them and gotten compliments. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well,
Some of our character ideas
pitching
and
character
such?
concepts you pitched.
I-
You constantly
When?
pitching characters. Almost every
Yeah.
episode, you pitch character concepts constantly.
It's just the unending stream of verbal area. It's kind of hard to pick it out.
I know. Just the perfection that
You ha-
falls out of
No,
your head.
you just have to shift through a lot of slag to get at any iron, bro. If you can find it in there, you're welcome to it.
We had a whole episode where we all talked about character stuff.
You did. Bucky had
We
good
all
stuff
helped.
too. You're good. No, you're good. You're good.
I try.
You're good. You're doing okay.
Get back to the rules, boy.
Get back to your rules, minds.
I'm just gonna give you. I'm gonna give
I'm
you.
not actually on the rules team.
No. But you masturbate furiously to the
The
idea.
College of Cardinals haven't called me up yet.
Yeah,
So,
we're gonna give you an abacus and a legal pad and lock you in a
Oh,
corner.
I
all you
I
care
forgot
about.
to relay this to you. I got one of the storytellers wanted me to relay thank you for your Fomori's design from the Antagonist Toolbox. You're
oh, good. That
a
actually
room
got
full of
used.
players got scared shitless with the Screamers, the Shriekers, whatever the hell you called them. The
Oh, I
Shriekers and
forgot what
Screamers.
I gave
Oh,
them all
see,
nicknames.
you also forget. Like, it just.
Well, I wrote a bunch of stuff and was
Yeah.
like, here, use this stuff.
If I remember correctly, it was a bunch of rank 3 Fomori with Scream of Gaia. Or something like that.
right, well, and also
Howl of
the
the Banshee or
Howl
something.
Howl of the Worm.
Howl of the Worm,
This
yeah.
is such a good, like... They gave the Worm one of the best crowd control powers in the game, bar none.
Yeah, I remember being on the wrong end of that.
This was actually something that came up at a local session, is where we had
Almost party wipes.
we had a rank 5 Fomori took on 7 PCs and only went down when 10 more PCs showed up. They could not take him down. It was incredible.
Well, it's
to
pretty
see.
much half the game was
But
fighting
would've.
one rank
when,
5.
When we
and there were
spiraled
two
out
rank-
into frenzy, we would have turned him torn to pieces. But then we
But
would
he-
have torn each
the
other
other
to
pieces too, because he would have been frenzy too.
Yeah,
too.
there were 2 rank 4s, 3 rank 3s, and then like a bunch of rank 2s and 1s. And the 1s I think were just straight mortals. So people with by the way, with crowd control mortal benefits, which you saw, having something like Baleful and like Snarl the Predator, like the seas parted in front of you, like the Old Testament, as a legion of chodes were like, I'm not running up to that guy and hitting him. I'm just not doing it. I don't care what my bosses say.
No, but here's the thing. And then the crowd control hit, and they hit the 2 dudes who could actually melee. So there I was stuck with somebody who couldn't actually fight. It's 2, by the way.
Yeah, and people, I think people were shocked that there was such a damage tax on combat. Like, the person who ended up taking... So I was like, I don't know who I'm going to shoot, because these are shots without chops, and we had a lot of visiting players, and one person raised their hand, they're like, I have trouble magnet. I'm like, oh, that is the wrong flare to walk into when there's a lot of no-chop damage.
One thing I do recommend to storytellers that we did run in this for the first time live, and it was good to see it was effective and scary, but not overly so, is if you have a giant mob of Fomori, a good portion of them should have trick shot. Like,
well, okay.
Because that creates an AoE damage tax that's so good.
Well, it's... Your rank 3s are like the perfect ones to give Ragabash to.
Mm-hmm.
They all have blur. They all have some decent sensory powers. They all have trick shot. They all have like a really good kit for being scary, but they don't actually, at rank 3, they don't really truly have the numbers to be like, they're not trouncing on chops, right? Because they're throwing like 11s to 14s on various things, right?
Right.
So they're doing okay as far as shots. So they can still be beaten. They're an approachable threat. But a rank 5 Fomori with Arun, as you found out, is a goddamn nightmare of regen DR because
you give them that Arun tree, give a high level Fomori that Arun tree.
If you have the whole tree, it's not suddenly like, do I really want Armor of Rage because it's not a great pet? No, you just have it because you're badass Fomori. So suddenly you've got DR, you're regenning. You could be Apotheosis of Raging for burst damage. I mean, you could just be doing crazy shit. And they have willpower, and they get rage.
And plus, you can't crowd control them like you can spirits. Like, spirits are so much less scary than Fomori. Because Fomori, A, get a rage track, B, have willpower. Spirits have willpower, sure. But at the same time, spirits can so easily be crowd controlled. They don't get the rage track. They're so much less... And that is a huge shift for some of our longer time players, myself included, is adjusting to a world where Fomori are a legitimately fucking terrifying threat.
Well, they only killed one of
but not spirits.
The other thing is, one of the other things is they didn't actually kill most of them. Once they did a sufficient amount of damage to like the rank 4s and rank 3s, most of them, other than the one that was grappled, they just poochied out.
Yeah.
Which is, instead of falling over, is once they take that amount of damage, they're out of the fight. But there's no reason why they should just like wait to be taken in, beaten to death, and looted like D&D mobs. So they just started booking it. And at a certain
that's
point,
the rule about stock NPCs that can't be emphasized enough. That running a stock NPC out of their health levels doesn't kill them.
They're not dead. They're just like
they're done fighting.
It's very much a Shadowrun concept. That's basically
openly acknowledged. Yeah.
Yeah, it's their threat rating or their professional rating. Where at that point they're like, you know what, not worth the money. This isn't as glorious a cause as it needs to be. I'm out. I'm not a Talon of the Worm. I'm not as pot committed as my boss is. I don't want to die. I'm out.
I just had to accept a challenge to a boffer duel. I'm sorry.
A boffer duel.
Did
someone slap you with a gauntlet?
Are you doing in New Jersey where dueling is legal?
Because everything is legal in New Jersey.
Someone quote said, "Fight me," and I'm like, "Done, boffer duel. We're doing it." I've got 6 inches and 150 pounds on this person. I don't like their odds.
I've got 6 inches on both of you.
You do.
That's unlikely.
You had a dickectomy. Now you have to deal with only 8 inches. I don't know how you get by.
This is really the wrong kind of inside joke to be talking about. Well, I mean, I'll take the compliment. Anyway, awkward conversations about
Also, combat maneuvers are the shit, and they'll save your life and annoy your storyteller.
Walk us through this one, Iggy. Tell us the story, because this is one players should hear.
Why? Why would I help?
Because that's why they watch the show.
Oh, fuck. I thought they just wanted to look at us.
No. Somebody remembered to read the combat section of the book. I assume.
Iggy is the Aaron Burr of MES. Yeah, I'm the one who lives and was right.
I mean, I really am with Hamiltonian.
I had a song called Dear Theodosia, and that dude would not stop stepping on my stanzas. Fuck him. So...
It was the blind maneuver that really did it.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's what it was.
So the fight basically after some Howls of the Worms and general crowd control on both sides, it came down to one rank 5 Fomori versus 2 Geru.
Theron Gull, you aren't that good looking. Yeah, we are. Especially me.
Who? What's Theron
I'm not
Gull?
touching that.
Somebody says that we're not that good looking. I'm like, we are.
Who?
But right there.
Not that as good looking as what?
Because I said they tune in just to look at us. And he says, "You're not that good looking." And I'm like, "Yeah, we are, and especially me. I'm fucking gorgeous.
He's
You're welcome."
You're seeing us on like a webcam. We clean up well.
So, meanwhile,
If you like a more robust masculine man of a certain
combat
joviality.
story. Please.
I think they would actually be more interested in trading insults than hearing about my silly story.
No, I think they
Are
said
we playing snaps with
they
them?
said back to the
The
story.
dozens. So there
The
was a guy that me and so there was a crowd control maneuver was crowd control gift was used. The two actual fighters had to leave, and there's my character and another character who can't melee for garbage, stuck going 1-on-1 with this rank 5 Fomori, and he had was it damage reduction
He had
DR2?
He had Iron gifts. Yeah,
He had DR2, and we just could not hurt this dude at
We
all.
would have hit DR3 eventually.
Yeah, so I just couldn't touch him. So I realized that the way he was going to keep hitting us, eventually we're going to frenzy out. So I just started trying to blind him.
Mm-hmm.
And even though he had dark sight, which lets you see in the dark,
Dark sight does not let you see with no eyes. It turns out,
apparently,
which is true.
so he had to
Yeah.
use his two standard. He had to use two simple actions to clear his vision, and then on our rage actions, we would blind him.
Well,
We just kept
burning
blinding him.
willpower for blind fighting when you're,
We-
especially when you're a stock NPC.
Yeah, we
becomes
were
an
just- we were just
extremely
wa-
expensive.
Yeah, so we were just
proposition.
wearing him down using maneuvers like blind fighting, dash grapples. Like,
But that-
if you're not a good fighter, it is incumbent on you to be a clever one. We went in
Oh,
there. Yeah, we went in there. We were using aid defenders, assist attackers, aid defenders. We were
blind,
we-
grapple, mangle.
we were
fur.
taking hits for each other and giving each other time to heal. If you're not great, you have to be clever.
Yeah,
And my character's not great.
Yeah.
My character's just
and you
clever.
are betting that character doesn't have wolf senses, obviously. Because if he has wolf senses, he don't give a fuck about his eyes.
Listen, if he had wolf senses, we would have found another maneuver to use. Like, there are enough maneuvers in the book that if you are clever, there is always an option.
I mean, you still would have eventually been worn down if Half wasn't coming. But you knew in character that help was coming in a couple
They
rounds.
were on
You
it.
just had to survive for like 5 more rounds.
If nothing else, if I knew help wasn't coming, I would have started doing withdrawing actions.
Yeah.
As we, because I had a talent that gave me conveyance, so it
Right.
would have been 6 steps.
Yeah.
So I would have had Crispy shift into a smaller form, picked him up, blind, run. There is always something you can do.
Oh, to help,
To
absolutely.
help, you don't have. It's
You
like
don't have
this
to
isn't
have
the,
35 traits
this
on
isn't
a
the
bike
old. This
job
isn't the
to
old
be
game where it's
useful.
all like, oh, I can't hit, so I might as well just go have a cigarette. It's like I can't hit, so I can use a talent. I can aid defender. I can assist attacker. I can set up the situation. I can use a hexing attack. I
Any
can.
number of
There are
million
1,000
buff
things
powers.
you can do.
And you were absolutely turboing through your willpower. You
Yeah.
were absolutely turboing through your willpower.
Yeah, but there's
What the fuck else could you do? If you were stuck in a physical combat.
Yep.
Well, it's that or die.
Yeah.
You know what? Honestly, here's the thing. My character could have gotten away. I absolutely could have gotten away.
But then Crispy would have died. Yeah.
And at this point, the Aruns had run. So I was thinking to myself, how can I shame the Aruns to stand when they flee?
That Howl of the Worm really got lucky.
Got the Wormfoe just tail between his legs, tucked and run.
Yeah.
Got another Arun tail between his legs, tucked and run. So it was
The Ratkin Murder Machine.
the Wrecking Murder Machine,
Yeah.
tucked and run. So it was me. It was me as a not beat stick Philodox, and I think Crispy's playing a Theurge.
Yeah.
The
Completely unequipped for that fight.
Completely.
the flip side of that is, well, you get a lot of power. Let's say you're rank 5 who's got Arun gifts, right? The flip side of that is, you know they don't have wolf senses because they don't also have Ragabash gifts. I mean, there are going to be very high level Fomori that probably have more than one auspice worth of
That
gifts.
they should, because Wolf Senses
I
is
think-
literally the shit.
Yeah, we have.
And you know, but because their menu is, and should be at least at the lower level, relatively limited, it did at least show that stock 3 in Werewolf, not Vampire, in Werewolf,
Yeah.
are a completely legitimate threat and will fuck up your party if you let them. And once you have a sprinkling of 4s and a 5 in there, they are a brutal force. Now you can at local go up to what, 11?
14.
14. I will party wipe an entire con if you give me a busload of 14 Fomori. I guarantee it. And it's just a matter of putting little flags in your book so you remember what powers they have. Because there's so many.
Well, that is the thing is, while there are ungodly powerful antagonists available to local, it is Werewolf. And Werewolf needs to have ungodly powerful antagonists for the game to work. So while
Otherwise, it's literally boring, and that's
Yeah,
the
right.
worst thing.
By the same token, you probably shouldn't have an amphitheater full of rank 14 Fomori at every game. Because, yes, the STs can kill you because they have unlimited bad guys to
But
do
the
so.
SD can also declare rocks while everyone dies at that
No.
point.
All right, so here's the thing.
But at least when you kill players
Valve
kosher.
stories of leaving PCs to die because they underestimated the enemy. To your pre-cron comments calling out those PCs who say they never left a man behind. See, here's the thing. There are certain auspices and certain jobs where they have to be able to say they made a good faith effort to not leave men behind. And if you're the Wormfoe, for example, and you run, you get scared off. And I mean, I understand it's a power that was used on you and you had to run.
Well, and that's why those stories shouldn't exist in backstories. Because the moment you hit the real game,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I lost the chop. I'll retest. I lost that too. Well, my entire backstory was a lie. I ran away.
Well, here's the thing. It's like, well, your character should... Yeah, and my character would have left somebody behind, but I wanted to show that I made a great effort. Because that makes you look good. It's not so much about making them look bad, which is kind of fun. But it's about making
Right.
It is.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
But it's about making yourself look good. It's like, if you're a not combat character and you see the Wormfoe and everybody else withdraw, now you have a choice. You have a choice. Tactically, should you withdraw? Probably. But if you're leaving somebody behind, should you not make an effort to make sure that, like, hey, let's see if we
or
can
at
take
least
this
pull
guy.
him out.
Unless the Wormfoe gives the order to withdraw on his way
Yeah,
out.
and he
In
did.
which
He
case
was
gets fucked out.
literally too busy running away. I don't understand. I mean, like, he could have given the order to withdraw as he ran away, but he chose not to for some reason.
Because eventually people were going to run. The backup was on its way.
Yeah, and I knew
mean,
backup was on its way, mindly, for the win.
You guys did nominally win. You killed your target. Oh, by the way, this was all the function of just hunting something at a moot. This was a massive combat. Like, 2 PCs definitely came within inches of needing to die, of just dying.
I would say every character should have a couple things on their sheet. In reference to something earlier, everybody should have their God of Survival, goes without saying, and
Yes.
everyone should buy Wolf Senses. Budget the XP for it.
I
Buy
really
Wolf
should.
Senses.
I've been saying that.
Yeah,
I
everyone
really
should have Wolf
should
Senses.
get it.
It's so good.
The survivability increase is so high.
Well, have you seen what fighting blind costs if you don't have blind fighting?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
You should get a dot of blind fighting.
It is
Too pricey.
Such a good power. It's 4 XP instead of 3. It's right?
Yeah. What was the first one? Dot of Survival. Buy a Dot of Survival.
Yeah.
For the
You
love
can't
of
rage
God,
heal.
have a Dot of Survival so you can rage heal.
And people got renowned for a lot of different things because they also there was also a lot of investigation and then even more importantly reinvestigation of various scenes where other characters who weren't involved in the first scene were like, you know what, let's go over this area, right? Let's look at it with another pair of eyes, with visiting players, with more people talking about it. And there was a lot of plot for everybody, which is something that you will hear us just hammer on constantly, is make sure that you have plot for everyone. It doesn't matter if you're the game of the month or if it's just some random session that you have.
And you mean for different types of players, not
For
just having every top plot for 35 different players.
right?
You want to cover the different types of players.
Personalized plot is great, especially if you're in a small game, because there are games that are like 4 or 5 people in an ST and they're going to meet at your house. That happens. That's fine. And absolutely have tailor-made plots for them. Really delve into their families and their backstories and things like that. When 40 people show up, though, for a game, or however many people, we had a lot of players that game.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody from Toronto.
Yeah, shout out to everyone from Toronto.
The Toronto players were excellent. I almost killed a couple of them, but they survived.
They were clever. They did well.
I'm proud of
They were good. They were good.
They did very well. The beaters got their chance. The Scooby-Doo characters got their chance, and that's important. And it's important in your everyday sessions as much as your con events. And again, that's just the work you have to put in before a bunch of players are going to show up at your game.
Oh, question to the crowd watching: what do you think of giving away? What do you think about giving away fetishes? Just as a concept, as your character, as a player whose understanding of the game may be different than mine. How do you feel about giving away a fetish?
Well, let's talk about that. But let's get to this question first from the audience. Has there been a conversation about how to deal with the Black Fury cheese as a player and/or a storyteller?
What Black Fury cheese in specific?
Which
Was there
cheese?
there's a smorgasbord of cheese out there? Is it a Gouda, a Brie? What are we doing?
They have a lot of cheese.
Are we talking about their massive damage combos?
Their massive free no chop damage combos. Yeah.
It's not a one-hit kill.
The fact is, if it's
If
not
you're
a one
playing
hit kill,
if you're playing a werewolf, first of all, there are no one-hit kills. I come up with a build that does 15 ag, right? I do 15 ag to you. Cool. You reach heal. Done. Your 1 dot is survival. Made sure that a one-hit kill is just
specifically
not
the
possible.
massive damage combos.
Honestly, the only cheese I would have a problem with is if somebody did work out an OTK. I would probably recommend we nerf that.
You can only
Two
get
hit
to
kills,
like 6.
but 2-hit kills are legit. I think two hit
kills are most of the game.
Yeah, 2-hit kills are most.
Listen, here's your 2-hit kill that another tribe has. Paws of the Newborn. You're done. Like that's
Well, you generally need another player to actually do the kill, but their damage cap, while the first everyman action isn't going to have a chop, and that's like a really cool power. Everything else is going to be a chop against some of the worst pools in the game, and they're still going to have to earn those exceptionals. Red Talons are another tribe with a huge damage ceiling, where with their merit, it's always going to be exceptional, and they're going to do gobs of damage. And once they have Apotheosis of Rage, they have a legitimate one-hit kill. Like, if they start combat at a certain point in the Rage track, during their first everyman, they can one-hit kill you, something that Black Furies currently cannot do.
Well, they can one-hit drop you.
Well, okay, they can force the rage heal on the first everyman.
Yep.
They can be like, I attack. They still have to win or tie the chop, but they're definitely going to get an exceptional because they're always exceptional.
Am I gonna
and then if they
finish off
get the
this entire
second
bottle
one,
of cherry wine?
they're going to force the rage heal before rage
Yep.
actions have even started. And if they have the right spec, during the rage actions, they're probably going to kill you. And the second everyman, they can actually do that power again.
Adenon, break down that combo. He says, on an Nazi, I come out of stealth to do 12 ab damage in the first round without a chop. I want to see that combo. Show your work.
Yeah, well...
If you can do 12 ab without a chop, but with one character, I want to see it. Show it.
What does he get if he shows it? He needs a prize.
Prize.
Our respect?
Mad props?
Something he wants.
I don't know how you can do 12. I mean, you can, by the way, even the Black Fury combo, you can technically get the damage up higher by doing things like coup de grace, but then it's not actually one-hit kill. Then you got to do a bunch of chops and win those chops to up your damage, so when you do your chop, they could die.
If there was a 12 ag no chop combo, I would love to hear it. I'm not currently aware of one.
I don't know of any of the...
With an Anansi. I'm assuming it involves toxins because it's an Anansi.
But those got a little bit... They got clarified, and the best thing about the toxins for them, honestly, is the fact that they can, on the surprise round, do a tremendous number of really cool things to get a really awesome chance at a knockout blow. Like, better than anybody else in the game.
They're really good at knockout, absolutely.
Like, they're the Pharah that can just be like, before you even know you're in combat, you were dealing with an insane chop, and if you don't make it, because they're going to exceptional on it, then you're unconscious.
First
and then
every
suddenly
man-
you've been
Okay, hang on.
kicked down.
First everyman.
Spend 3 blood for extra action. Spend 1 gnosis for trick shot. Your fetish gun does ag.
Okay. Second action. Nope. You can't spend to activate gifts on your rage actions.
Yeah.
So that doesn't work.
Well, unless you're on an Aussie who's also a glasswalker with chaos mechanics.
Yeah, unless they have chaos mechanics, that's fair. Unless they have.
There are people who can you can still do gobs of damage, but first of all, if we're already talking about it being more than one action, it definitionally isn't a one-hit kill.
Yeah.
Or even a one-round kill.
But even to that, you can't use trick shot. Without chaos mechanics, you can't use trick shot on your rage actions.
Or the fetish form of trick shot. You can't do that either.
No.
Because you're not allowed to.
Unless you're a glasswalker.
If you're a
Yeah, go
glasswalker
nuts,
with
yeah.
an awesome fetish gun, you
Cheers.
could be throwing out 4 or 5 damage on every round and every rage round, which is awesome. 'cause
Okay,
it's an
hang on. You can't. It doesn't need to be clarified. You spend blood instead of gnosis. The same gnosis spending rules apply. Just because you're spending blood instead of gnosis as your trait doesn't mean the restrictions on gnosis don't apply.
It's not even a restriction on gnosis. You can't activate gifts on rage rounds. I mean, like, that's the way it's basically written. I mean, we'd have to go over the book, but it's really about... There's only a very certain number of gifts that are either always on or specifically say that they can be done in rage rounds. Because they didn't specifically call it gnosis, because not just because of chaos mechanics, but also because of, like, the Nuisha baby chaos mechanics and some of the other things that are sort of powers you can do in rage actions, but they're an exception. But normally you just can't activate gifts or fetishes during rage rounds. It's just, I think it's right there on the tin if you look at...
what you can do during a rage action, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless we're wrong, but I don't think we are. I feel pretty strongly about
I would
this
just
one.
like you to look up the rule of what you can't do on rage actions. It'll probably be in core systems, combat, and then rage.
Yeah. And, yeah.
You get an everyman, you get a simple, but then there's a whole bunch of things you can't do.
Yeah. Yeah, check the book. I mean, I know we responded very strongly to that.
No,
that's just because I'm pretty certain we're right.
I don't think it's a blood gnosis thing. I think they rolled back from that and just said no gifts. Unless the gift is like, you can do this during rage actions.
Yeah.
Which some of them absolutely say.
Yeah.
Trick shot, not one of them.
Yeah. CM is chaos mechanics. You can definitely do no chop kills in one full round with chaos mechanics. Absolutely.
Well, we should name our conventions. If you have chaos mechanics, I think of rounds as every man, rage 1, rage 2, rage 3.
1 4-second
that
period.
one full turn,
Yeah.
I guess, because full turn is something that we get from other games and Magic the Gathering and stuff. It's supposed to interrupt phases.
Action, attack phases, yeah.
Hashtag D&D. Hashtag 5th Ed.
Hashtag every other game, Shadowrun, Magic, every the test card game, pre-range, range, declaration, combat, damage resolution, press. Anybody pressing?
Yeah.
Press to continue.
Does God, we gotta play that again.
We should.
We should. So just as a quick question while we're still talking about this, fetishes. Seriously, guys, what do you think about characters giving them away? I'm interested in
I
knowing.
thought we
your
were
opinions.
responding to their questions, but I would like to hear what they have to say.
I don't. Since when do I follow anyone's conventions?
I think the most damage I can do.
I do what I want.
I think
I
the
will
most
say
damage
that-
I can do in an everyman is about 14 if you win 2 chops.
I think every fetish forger build expects to be trading or giving away fetishes for prestation.
No, you have a fetish. You're not the builder. You've gotten the fetish somehow.
Sure.
How do you feel about people giving away the fetish? How do you feel about receiving a fetish from someone? If you're a fetish builder and you build your fetish for someone and they give it away, how do you feel about that? Like, there is an aspect,
there is something
a
there.
sub game.
There is something there.
Within fetish. How do you feel about somebody giving away
Is
what
it
is
appropriate?
not typically a tribal fetish, but is a powerful fetish owned by someone in your tribe? Do you think of it as tribal property? If somebody in your tribe dies and they have a bunch of fetishes that aren't specifically tribal fetishes, but they're badass as fuck, and they get willed away.
That's another.
Well, first of all, any attempt to will it away would fall in the face of the litany, because the litany so precedes that. So the tribal leader would get first crack if they wanted it. So that would fall
So
away.
they could either take her or something.
Does it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Because what if he was the greatest in station? He decides who gets what.
He's dead.
He's dead. He has no stead. The dead have no renown.
The dead have no renown.
Well, I mean, they used to get posthumous renown, but they're still super.
At the
duper
very
dead.
least, they're no longer Garu.
The dead they have less of a say in this system than they have ever had before. Because in the old system, you could at least be like, well, just call him up and be like, hey, what's up, guys? So who'd you want to get your sword? Oh, Steve. I wanted Steve to get my sword. Now you're like, hey, let's just call up his spirit. There's no right for that. Go suck a dick.
I don't know about. You can still summon spirit if they're an ancestor spirit. Just use summon spirit.
Conversely, what if it's a
that is.
what if it's a fetish that is associated with a certain tribe, and the greatest in station left is not of the tribe, and they're like, that's mine now.
I want
Well,
my
these
stone
are-
mall to go to non-strider. Or
These
whatever.
No, you have a stone mall. You want to leave it to your get a fetish with a stone mall. You want to leave it to your get a fenris grandson. And then the Sept Alpha is all like, well, this isn't technically a tribal fetish because we don't really have those anymore. And it's mine now.
Well, these are all things that there shouldn't be general rules for, because they're
Yeah,
great
let's
things for
players- let's
step
players do
rules.
it.
I don't want general
leaders,
rules.
yeah.
I want general feelings,
No, you
which is
don't.
why I'm asking them and not y'all, because I don't care what y'all think. I care what they think.
That's fair. That's fair. They more vote than we do.
That's an incredibly
fair.
true statement
That's
for
very
almost
true.
everything.
Yeah.
Even
Their,
pizza toppings.
their pack should get the say. If a person falls in combat, their
Ooh,
pack should get the say
That's
where it goes.
interesting.
Yeah, I like that.
I would love to see these written up as
Because-
sept rules, so that I would love to see somebody visit a game
And see the
and there
book
be
of
like
law.
a posted like
No, a
or
book
just-
of law
yeah,
that
like-
is actually a fetish.
right.
Right.
This is the rules of this sept, and they can like be like, oh,
Oh.
there you have different rules and customs, and I think while that's can get that could be cumbersome, there is a certain coolness of knowing that when you go to a different sept, it's actually emphasis, underline, bold, different, as opposed to just being a sept in a different location.
I
You
mean,
know what I mean?
I'm going to snatch something from real life. That kid who died from brain damage, who was in North Korea.
Oh yeah.
He's tried to steal the decoration or whatever the hell it was. Like, normally in America...
You're off screen.
I'm sorry. Normally in America, stealing a decoration doesn't get you thrown into prison and then brain damage, depending on who you are.
Did we watch that first season Next Generation episode where Wesley almost gets executed for stepping on a lawn?
Aren't
I mean, don't kids know things these days they learn from watching
I think
Star Trek
Korea
Next
claimed that he
Generation?
had botulism
I don't know.
or something.
No, but I mean, like,
I wonder how he got botulism.
No,
Like,
and
that
you know
really
what?
explains
I
it.
like how that people think that they take the laws of their sept or nation with them,
Oh, they really
and
don't.
and you really don't. And a great example of this in Mind's Eye in any game is fairies. You think you take your little petty laws to Arcadia? No, you're under their laws all the time.
Well, in
Eat
Garrett,
something. I fucking dare you.
in Garrett, it's very clear that the laws you're under is based only on what dirt you're standing on.
Exactly. So if you're a Philodox, you should probably go to the neighboring septs and see what's up.
Yeah, and I think some.
Hey, if you go over there, seriously, don't step on their lawn. Like, seriously, don't.
The other thing that I think games could be doing and Philodox should be working on is if you have local games, having the local Philodox Truth Catchers, Master of Challenges, agree to honor each other's infractions.
Yeah, like we have an extradition treaty.
I would.
Yeah, so if Bob goes to Jim's game and comes home, he technically can't be punished unless the local game decides, no, we're going to honor that.
You are absolutely going to. If
Yeah.
you go to Toronto, I'm
wanna make
I'm
a
just
really
throwing. I'm
pedantic law point on that, but we'll get
I'm
there.
just throwing this out for the
Make your
local
pedantic law point
for
in a
the
second.
for the local
It's
players.
really more of an MLAT than an extradition
Yes.
treaty.
Oh, Jesus
now
Christ.
It's an international mutual legal assistance treaty.
now that for any local players that are watching this, if you go to Toronto and you fuck up, don't come back to Buffalo. Do not, because I will let them have that ass. I will.
And out of this could emerge that regional level of authority that everyone's looking for.
That would be.
That is
I would
exactly
love
how you
a
do it.
regional werewolf Hague.
By the book.
I would love a werewolf Hague with werewolf Hague branches.
Oh, this is one
So
big
good.
thing that a lot of players don't know, but will be incredibly useful for resolving conflicts between the tribes. This is the basic thing about arbitration. You've got a rant on this.
Robert Rules of Order. What?
No.
No, of like how to do. Okay,
yeah,
so
this is great. This
this
is something
is a
games should be
system
doing.
that still exists, and has existed almost unchanged for several thousand years. And basically, the idea is this: if you want to arbitrate something, one person picks an arbitrator, right? The other party picks an arbitrator,
And they both pick an arbitrator.
and then they have to agree.
Well, the
to
two people you've picked as arbitrators, not you.
The two arbitrators have to agree who would make a good neutral arbitrator. Now, and that's to guarantee that
There's
at
removal.
least one person who isn't owned by either side, because both of them have to agree on somebody who's generally so honorable or so beyond reproach or so removed or what have you. I think you are so partisan. I don't know if that works.
I'm really
but
not.
This is why Striders have Philodox. They're a great resource
I'm really,
for this.
I'm really not partisan because I hold my honor more. My character holds his honor more important
Well,
than political affiliation.
you know what? If you wear that as like as your laurels, then I hope somebody takes you up. I really do, because
I would be
and
more
this
than
is
happy to
system-
hang a silver fang just to prove the point.
So, right. So if Sept 1 and Sept 2 in the same or even different regions, right? So if we're Great Lakes dealing with Northeast,
Yeah.
right, and there's a kerfuffle, have one group, Sept person, whoever, assign an arbitrator, and
This-
then
this
get
shit-
to a third,
no.
and then you've got so much
This-
plot and role playing.
This shit is
opportunity
easy.
There, right?
This shit is easy.
Am I wrong?
Sept A, when we talked about this on the Philodox boards way before the game started, Sept A gets their truth catcher. Sept B, where the bad guys from, gets their truth catcher, and then they find a silent strider truth catcher.
Or somebody
Or,
neutral.
yeah, Philodox. Or they find some incredibly honorable whatever, and those three settle the issue, and you present it to the Sept office, and if they don't agree with it,
Could you
fucking
imagine
fight.
the nail
Fight
biting
me.
of the
Fight
players
me.
once it's like, well, we've assigned it to the three werewolves who are going to decide your fates, and they're going to go have their role playing scene.
and they're fucking PCs. No shunting
Yeah,
the
no
NPCs off to
Yeah,
NPCs.
none of that.
absolutely.
Fuck that.
It's like Bob, Joe, and Lou. You love Lou. Lou killed your character. Lou killed your tune, dude.
Or he got outvoted 2-1. Like,
Yeah.
Well, that is one thing. Just having a Philodox,
gives me the vapors.
having a Philodox player deciding whether somebody 1,000 miles away lives or dies is the exact thing you want out of network play. That is exactly
absolutely.
what you want.
You want
It's
to be
so
the
good.
dude playing in Buffalo who gets a call from the LA game. We need someone
Who has
whose
no ties.
honor and wisdom and who's totally uninvolved.
And whose willingness to kill somebody he knows is wrong
Right.
is beyond reproach.
And then
because
two
somebody
people
may
from
have
two
to die.
different games approach it. That is the best type of network play. Now, it might not be the best if you end up getting got, but for the people in that room, that is the height of RP. And it's RP, real RP. It's not just sheet maintenance, it's not throwing shops. It's actually being able to just role play. and argue and do different stuff. And powers can come
Whoa,
into it.
and no, argue, role play, bribe behind the scenes.
Oh, if you're
pull
willing to,
favors,
if you're willing to like go full down,
skullduggery, my
if you
friend.
find out who this third neutral person is, and you
Wait,
think you can get to them,
wait, no, hold on. Can that third person even be secret? Should they be secret?
Well, it depends if your triumvirate of arbitrators is going to.
Because the two arbitrators know who the third arbitrator is, and then they're like, all right, so
if
who's
they
the...
hold it in secret?
Yes!
Look, there's literally no rules for this.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. We can make this
them
up.
But I would definitely say that as somebody, I'm not playing a Philodox right now, but if I was, or even as a Ragabash, I would be too nascent at the idea of being an arbitrator.
Okay. Now that everybody's
in the real world, I don't.
now
volunteer for
that
very
everybody's
often.
turgid and tumescent for some reason. Okay, I'm gonna throw something in. The perpetrator is a pharaoh,
Hey, hang on.
Oh, this is cool.
but he's not a member of the nation.
Well, that's a
Hang on.
okay.
Yeah,
You
now
might
we got
not-
international.
And then you can do some of the customs of international law, or you can try to make an argument of jurisdiction. These are all things that werewolves should, who are Philodox and Ragabash and arguing about these things, should totally do. That would be awesome.
I'm hummeting all over the nation. Yeah, I am. You can lupus all over the nation. You and all three of you.
Well, okay. Here's the thing about lupus. Despite the fact that you spent your early years basically having amnesia, at some point you became a supernatural shapeshifter and got the ability to spend experience and in 1 month become an expert in computers. Now, you may have chosen not to do that, but you could have done it.
You do have
You have the ultimate magic.
You have the mental capacity and understanding as to why this would matter.
You could just sit down with John
Pac-
Maxey Zane's History of Law, read it in a day, and buy up whatever skill you want to represent that.
Because the thing is, the ability to do wolf-like pack politics makes total sense when there's 10 to 40 of you. But now you can conceive of numbers in the thousands, and you have to realize it cannot work.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of this could end with the arbitrators being like, especially, imagine having an arbitration of all three are lupus because it involved a Red Talon and a Wendigo, both of whom were lupus, and they agreed. They're like, the proper way to resolve this is they settle it on the mound.
The fair
That's
thing.
Totally legit.
It isn't his litany. Now, if he gets a Garu killed, I get it. No. See, as we discussed earlier, the laws belong to the dirt who owns the dirt you're standing on. If you come into my sub's territory and you go around violating the litany...
Do you want a quick aside on the traditions of international law?
No. I don't care if you're a pharaoh, unless you have diplomatic immunity somehow. If you come onto my bond and start eating a head, we're going to have a human head. We're going to have a problem.
Who is tried where is some of the oldest laws and rules in human history.
Yes.
Like, these traditions go back to the most ancient of... Since we got boats, basically. And when people could do things
When
in
people
places
could run away.
they weren't from.
Yeah, when people could run away.
Right. Whose problem that is and who has to deal with it have so many different... Well, really only 4 or 5. But there's a plurality of opinions when it comes
You
to
really
how it's
should have
dealt
just
with.
played a Philodox.
I am a Philodox. I don't need to play... It was bad enough I got roped into being a werewolf lawyer at the first con I was at. And I'm like, I can't escape this. This is my fucking life.
No, because you were a werewolf. Because as a regular, you're a werewolf defense lawyer. That is
I'm
what they
literally
are.
a criminal defense
That's
lawyer
what they
in
are.
life.
Yeah, that's what they are. Deal with it.
I was there.
You picked
I
it.
was just standing next to... Oh, I think her name was Maureen. And she was RPing her butt off. And I was like, well, I'm here. I can do this.
No one's going
It's
to
a
eat a
fun
human
scene.
head on the bond. Your sept's territory bounds matter. Yes, but like your sept's territory extends outside from the bonds. Like if this is our territory, if Western New York, for example, is our territory, and I catch you eating humans on it, we're going to have an issue.
Right, the Sept is not the Cairn. The Sept is way
The
bigger
whole
than
area.
the Cairn.
If you eat in Toronto and they bust you there and you run to Buffalo, you're still going to have a problem.
You might. And it really depends on how other players are. Here's the other thing. Once you start doing this, you realize the social importance
All
of
the protector,
Philodox.
because we protect it.
Yeah, of the Philodox and the Ragabash, that their social roles aren't just like, I'm gonna do punishment rites and I'm gonna tell everybody they're wrong. It really rises to a much higher level.
Why
of
isn't
game
there a
play.
Ragabash Defense Lawyers Guild? Like there should be a guild.
There is a Ragabash group. It's not
No,
very
you need
active.
like a Defense Lawyers Guild where it's all like
a defense bar.
yes.
I mean, you can make one. They exist in the real world. There's... I get the newsletters for the Nizbas.
How big is your Scepter Protector? As big as you can make it. If you have 40 Garu...
Your territory is what you claim.
Yeah. No. There's the size protector. It is governed by a chart in BNS APOC. There's a chart.
Here's another...
Yes, there is a rules thing of what your domain...
Yes, but
it also can't be larger than your VSS,
So basically the answer is it depends. But also, that's something I noticed in the book that I wanted to actually bring up to you, Brian.
Hello.
Right, so how many Garu does a rank 1 shard Cairn require?
Isn't listed in the
There's
book?
a chart.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what happens when it goes to rank 2 and it still doesn't have that many players that rank 2 requires?
There's rules for that. It will go down eventually.
Yes. So eventually,
Sure,
if you want a rank 5 shard Cairn and you want to make it a real Cairn, you need like 50 players in your VSS.
Well, some portion of that can be NPCs.
Some portion, but
But it really shouldn't be a lot. It really shouldn't. Otherwise, you just shouldn't have it. Like, if you're like, well, the Guardian pack, which is 13 dudes, is like, all right, slow down. Like, I mean, there's a certain point.
No, here's my point. That is a massive incentive to let Fair into the nation.
Well, no, because Fair already count under the right of acceptance towards that number.
I'm not going to say that there's steps that make de-incentivize being a Fair nearby, but there's steps that de-incentivize being a Fair nearby.
Sure.
So
and that's fine.
It's
that's
like
you want.
It's like how much do you not want Farah? Do you not want Farah to the point where you don't get a rank 5 shard?
Well,
Cairn?
that's already a thing. That's
Yeah,
already
that's-
right. I mean,
I
that's
just wanna
not a change. That's
No,
already
it's not a
Is there
change.
anything
I just want
new?
to throw that out.
Yeah.
With questions. I can't read it from here. I'm old.
What are you asking?
Is there anything new on the
Yeah,
question?
there's a whole
I see people posting things, and I'm just like,
Shoot Foster an email.
I
Well,
shot Foster an email.
plus, if you're a Farah that has taken the right of acceptance, you've agreed to follow Garu law, and if you haven't taken the right of acceptance, well, you have no protection.
Absolutely.
well, do you want an example? Of, no, I don't want to do it.
It doesn't matter if
it
doesn't matter if you're a citizen in America or not a citizen of America. If you're caught slaving, you're going to have a bad time.
Here, Bucky, here's a rules question for you. How do you determine if PCs who pick up the physical focus stamina and resist pain are being as worth it? Like the combo between the focus and the gift, is it worth having? The combo between resist pain and stamina.
Not
focus.
having to deal with wound penalties and also not having to deal with wound penalties.
Yeah, apparently.
I mean,
Is it worth? Is it worth
Resist
it,
pain
or is it
is-
wasting slots?
no. Resist. Okay, there is an overlap, right? If you have the stamina focus, I don't really know if you need resist pain. Although I think you do eventually, even the stamina focus, take wound penalties just when it's high. I don't know. I'd have to look it over again. But the stamina focus does more than resist pain does. Like the focus is more powerful than the gift.
Yeah,
Because the focus also says they can't knock you out unless they have more physical traits than you.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? Yeah, it's knock out and knock.
Down or back?
No. Nothing makes you immune to knockback. Pretty much. And like there's armor that does it, but there isn't like a separate power. Knockback and
Knock down.
Okay, so
Resist pain makes you immune to torture. Oh, and you can give it with the focus, with the
Yeah.
You can give it to
yeah.
people.
Well, that's the other thing is if you want to share it, because again, it's a level 1 gift, right? And that's 3 XP if it's in tribe, and 4 if it ain't. Like
Oh, that's a bottle of wine gone.
Like that's
It's a very
pretty
small
good.
bottle of wine in your defense.
Yeah, but it is pure sugar.
Oh, look at those delicious fruit.
Yeah.
Show everyone your delicious fruit.
I had
You
frozen
put-
cherries in my cherry wine.
So pinkies out.
Repost. Have we seen any movements to take over camps or tribes yet? Looking for vague booking. I think we've seen some movement in that, specifically in certain tribes, which you might guess, but not as much as I expected.
No, there's.
I think it's a little early for that. People are still feeling each other out.
Okay,
I don't even know what the leaders
I have
are.
I have a
in
que-
tribes camps.
I have a question for the viewers. Is there something your character's trying to accomplish that you think is super cool and you want to share? I want to know. In fact, I'll even even it out. My character, and it's something's going to get posted in the next couple of days, so I don't feel like I'm spoiling anything. My character wants to get rid of the houses in Silverfang. He thinks they're detrimental.
Good luck with that.
That's not going to happen.
Tilting
you
it
turning that
window,
off?
So it doesn't reflect so much on my glasses.
Okay.
That's all.
It's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I kind of like making the impossible happen.
It could. I mean, the whole world could end.
I could just be like,
The whole world, yeah.
There's a lot of things on the table.
But the main thing is, I'm gonna try to get a bunch of Silverfangs to lay down their crowns and admit to only having one king or queen. So I have to get people who have crowns to give them up.
Good luck with that.
Yeah,
that
that's
is
not gonna
tilting and
happen.
fucking windmills.
I want gamers to
Quixotic at its core.
I want gamers to step away from power.
What were we recently talking about? Where it was like, Oh, I'm sorry, it was vampire related, so Iggy will hate it. But I was like, yeah, it's nobody's falling all over themselves to be on Path of Metamorphosis. Not like Scorched Heart, where your character is ruled only by the cold, emotionless logic of the gamer. Whatever makes me more powerful, I will do.
Alexia, you were AFK for a second. Short version, maybe yes, maybe no. Yes, what Ednan said. That is our opinion on Resist Pain Stamina Focus. I wouldn't go running for it. It's no wolf senses with Stamina Focus.
If you have Stamina Focus, it's not a really high priority, but you can give it to other people, and it's cheap. 3 XP is cheap.
Don't you need some dragons for that? Aegon. Oh, I get it. Lord of the Rings. What does it say?
I was specifically asked to vague book, to be clear.
Striving for the impossible is the sport of legends. Don't you want to be a legend?
People still remember who Milo of Kronos was.
If you want a high app to get 3 more XP on your sheet, I mean, go nuts. It's only 3 XP.
No, it wasn't Milo of Croton?
Crete is the wrestler.
I'm looking this shit up.
You can. If it's a wrestling question, I'm right.
It is.
Milo of Crete.
I'm sorry, I don't know why
kinfolk,
this
yeah.
is important.
Oh,
to me.
no. If you're a kinfolk, you should have clarified that you were a kinfolk. As one of your kinfolk gifts, I would absolutely not take that.
You mean Milo of Croton?
You're right.
I don't know why anyone ever questions me.
Because you're often wrong?
I was... Okay.
I need to drink.
I heart you.
You need to drink.
We can hug it out later.
Bender, we're worried about you. You need to drink more.
So, this is Bend the Knee.
Oh.
It is one of the
I've
Game
heard
of Thrones
raving
beer.
things about that.
It is actually pretty good. It is a golden ale with honey.
May I have some?
You may have. Here's a... Because I'm going to drink it straight out of the bottle.
Oh, if I may. Yeah.
So,
I wanted to try this one. Everyone's raving about it.
Lording your adult liquor.
You want some water, Bucky?
You pour it on the side. You want to pour it on the side there.
I'm too drunk to get that right.
All right,
so
that's
let the head go
Thank
down.
you.
Give that a few minutes.
Any more details on Sep Politics vague booking? Honestly, when I vague book, it's for a reason. But I do think that there's definitely more work to be done on sect.
Let me try that again.
On sect politicking. I think we all have more work we can be doing on that. And I'd say that as much to myself as to everyone else. Which is something we need to work on more. And that's something you're going to see at National.
Yeah, getting player... Okay, here's the other thing. There's a lot of really cool stuff out there. Like the regional stuff we're talking about that's possible.
That's good.
The taking over camps, taking over this, taking over that. All the PCs moving up
I'm good on my own.
and really making their voices be heard. But all of that, I think, without exception, requires a tremendous amount of player investment and player buy-in. And you can't really force that, and you can't rush it. So... it's going to happen when it happens, if it's going to happen. I mean, there's a certain point where you just have to, like, you sow the seeds and you encourage it, but you got to let them grow on their own.
One thing I'll say...
Edanon, that's strained. I know you could do better. Try again.
Yeah, this is so much head.
No. You can do better. I believe you.
Oh, he can do better than that.
Try again.
You got this. Let me respond to one thing I said here by turning around something someone asked earlier. Someone asked if I would change anything about the setting. What would I change? Let me respond to the question about me vague booking about player politicking by returning that question around. Is there anything I would change about how the players have taken in the Chronicles so far? And I think the answer is the thing I would change was I would like more players to sell the fact that every once in a while a spirit walks up to you and says, hey, dude, the world's going to be ending in 4 years because you're not getting the job done. Like, players
Especially
actually...
people who have that merit.
Like,
There's like a Celestian. Hey, the sun called and wants to know why the world still looks like it's going to end. Because you should get on that.
Like, I would like to see more player ownership and selling. And what I mean selling, I mean like in the wrestling sense, where you sell a move.
The kayfabe.
See, he didn't sell that. He didn't sell that at all.
That was a no sell.
I didn't know you were going to do
That was
it.
a total no sell.
That was a
There's
no
the sell.
Oh.
See, that's what I would like more of, is selling the fact that I see...
You mean Hirano?
Well, yeah, I mean...
You mean Hirano?
To some extent,
not just
Hirano.
Hirano.
But other sense, just players acknowledging that we are losing. And I don't see quite enough
Almost
of that.
lost. Almost lost.
I know someone who very much just said that. So, there's your vague bucket.
Mm-hmm. But that's just one thing I would see. I need to see a little
We're
bit
losing.
more.
We're losing, and why aren't people trying harder not to lose?
Or acknowledging that they're losing. There's a lot of people pushing a status quo that I don't think exists.
There's a lot of
So I
people.
think
It really shouldn't exist. Like, things are stable, we'll just keep doing this. It's like, you almost got wiped out in the recent past, and you figured out a way to keep some cairns alive. Congrats. Things are not great. This
You're
is not a status quo.
You're
you
treading
want.
water, but your ass is still in the middle of the ocean, and there's sharks.
Well, it's like a resistance movement.
Hey,
you know?
Havelock, how's it
Like-
going?
Like, I don't think any underground movement that's fighting against a big overarching bad is like, you know what, we've got a pretty good thing going. We're doing operations. Some of them are successful. Some of them aren't. Let's just keep things the same.
Adnan, that one's better. You're getting there. You're getting there.
I believe in you.
You're getting there.
What's happening?
He's upgraded more head than it's up to now more head than Bill Clinton visiting the Oval Office. So he's getting there. He's improving. We had an argument about methods where we're losing when we take action was an argument in local games. Shrug, but that's local.
So, we want to hear about your
Yeah,
local
no,
stuff.
local is vitally
Local's where
important.
the game is. With the exception of a very limited amount of time most players get to actually travel to distant cities to RP. Like, the events matter, but they are under the backdrop that the majority of game happens between those events, and then you generally only have capstones at those events. You know what I mean? Like,
But what it should be is that
your
we're
pay-per-views
adding-
are not the only part of the story.
Yeah,
It
well,
can't be.
we add flavor and texture with online play, but local game is what I want to hear about. Local
Yeah.
game is the game. Like, that is the shit. Local game is a bit more slapstick feel than deadly serious. Well, some of that's on the storytellers, and a lot of that's on the players, and a lot of that might be that it's early days. Sometimes you need to have a couple PCs die horrifically to really sell the fact that things really suck.
It's serious.
Yeah, like it's all fun and games till Bob gets his head blown off, and then suddenly it's not. Everyone stops laughing all the time. So maybe that just takes some time, or maybe it's just something you
We're
have to
also
work
gonna-
on.
No,
it's selling you
it's
the game.
not. It's not what it is.
No?
I don't think that's what it is at all.
What do you think it is?
I think that people would be content to argue on the arranging of the deck chairs on the Titanic while it sinks under the seas, as long as the deck chairs are arranged to their specifications when it finally goes under.
It's
It's
just
a
sheer
lot of
escapism.
that. No, it's not that it's sheer escapism. It's just that, like, this is my little purview. This is the ground I'm going to play in. And there are a lot of people who are more than willing to see the world burn if they can be the king of the ashes for a minute.
Well, it also has to do with the type of stories that you're telling. Like, there will be joyous moments of triumph, even in defeat. Even in the darkest of times, there's still things like that.
They're playing against each other.
Well, I'm just talking about a more casual type of set.
They're playing, even in a casual type, they're playing against each other. Werewolf primarily is PvE with PvP streaks.
Mhm.
If you want to play the game for its overarching story, it should be PvE with PvP streaks, and then there's a point where you have to look at it and go, I have to choose right now between advancing my PvP agenda or the PvE agenda at possibly the cost of my PvP agenda. One of those has to go forward.
Well, of one or the other.
Yeah.
Because there's a certain point where you're going to be like, if we're going to win, or at least my view of winning, in PvE, it's going to require PvP, because somebody else is stopping me.
And that's such a aggro gamer way of looking at it. You could
But
do
it
this.
happens.
No, yes, it does. But there's a third way that you're not seeing, and the third way is this: at some point, I might have to bend the knee to advance the story.
No, that's also true. I'm just saying that.
But that's never what people look at. They're like, I have to beat Bob and get the crown so I can be king to make this happen the way it needs to happen.
I've played a lot of characters that bend the knee.
Because the alternative
But
is extinction.
A lot
Yeah,
of it is
or
choice.
you could just. But that's the thing. If you went to Bob and you or Sarah and you went to Sarah and you said, "I think you're a competent Garu. I think I'm better, but I'm not sure. What I do know is you care, so I'm willing to bend the knee." Now that's something that's throwing in the face of Garu society, where it's like they should fight and the better one should win.
Yeah.
But there's a thing where both characters are circling each other for so long, ducking the fight that would settle it because they have everything on the line.
Right.
Sometimes
But
you
meanwhile,
just
they're
need to
not
show
paying
throat.
attention to the bigger fight.
Meanwhile, the ship is sinking because they're trying to angle for whatever advantage to be
Who
captain.
gets to be
Yeah.
captain while the ship sinks? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, it might be better for the story and better for the character and better for the nation for you to bend
That's
the
a
knee.
huge theme in Werewolves.
Yes, but it's a theme that I think gets overlooked constantly.
Players don't like to lose.
It's
Although
not.
some people play to lose.
Is it losing? Is it losing?
No, it's service of a greater win.
Yes.
Right, but you have to convince the
It's
player
being-
that's actually the case.
It's being the fullback. You throw the block to get the running back in for the TD.
Yeah.
That's not losing. That's just not getting the
a lot
glory.
a lot of people don't.
Yes, and that's the problem. That's what I'm saying.
Throwing the block down and taking one for the team
Yes!
is APOC. That is APOC in a football analogy.
But some people demand to hold the ball.
Yeah, but the problem is APOC should be a game filled with offensive linemen. I think there's a lot of great story in being a lineman. I mean, yes, the receivers will get the big glory, but you're the ones who make it happen. Lose the battle to win the war.
Some of us are just there, strong safety, just trying to keep the thing from falling apart.
You don't even have to lose the battle. All you have to do
We probably shouldn't go too deep into football analogies.
is bend the knee.
Oh my god.
I see.
This
I
is
mean, I knew
delightful,
that
by
was
the way.
coming.
Yeah,
This
it is,
delight-
isn't it?
It's nutty, but not too nutty.
You get notes of honey.
yeah,
It's really
a little
good.
bit of honey, yeah.
Freshen up your water.
I'm good right now. Thank you.
Werewolf the Pyrrhic victory. Well, that's the thing, guys. Is your loss is not preordained. It is not up to the storytellers. It is entirely in your hands whether this is a tragic end or a noble victory.
But it's not Werewolf the Pyrrhic victory. It's Werewolf the noble sacrifice.
Sure. Hey, somebody's gotta lay down on the trip on the barbed wire.
To let people go.
Well,
Yeah, crawl
Literally,
over.
I've done it. Like,
Hang
you
on.
can do the thing.
It really also depends on your definition of what a Pyrrhic victory is and the culture that you're coming from. There is
All this assumes that the players are taking the game seriously. You don't even have to take... If you're not taking the game seriously, then why wouldn't you bend the knee? And if you are taking the game seriously, I think that's where the greater issue lies. The players who take the game super seriously. The players who are like, they gain OOC satisfaction and ego boost from being the
From
king,
no
the
selling.
judge.
The problem is the people who aren't buying in. The problem are people who no sell. The problem is the players who like shitty things are happening around them and they're not honoring it in character.
Yeah.
They're just laughing and having a good time and they're no selling it. It's not a question of taking the game seriously. It's respecting those around you and honoring the truth of what's going on in character around you.
One of my favorite moments last session was with Isaac, who was doing a ritual, and there was a little smoking and joking, and he just brought it in and made it real again. And he pulled something out of me I forgot was even there. He was asking me, so which enemy of the Sept do you think we should go after? And I was like, well, whichever one's easy. He's like, which? And then just some real shit came out of me.
Yeah.
He drew a response out of me by not only forcing me to stay in character, but encouraging me. Not like you have to stay in character, but like hitting me with an icy reaction so hard he got one back.
and a purely icy question.
That was the shit. And the people who super sell it are the ones I want to roll.
Well, you need 2 or 3 people to supersell it to help bring everyone else back in.
Yes.
When somebody's kinfolk has just got blown up and everyone's laughing, you want that. PC
So we got
in the room.
we got out of there with no losses. Well, the kinfolk died. Well, we didn't lose any Garu, and there should be
I wanna
somebody
s-
in the corner who's like, "We're gonna have to have this out right now."
What the fuck is wrong
That
with
was-
you?
There's a certain point where you can't just treat them like a dot on your sheet. That attempt, they're not unlike retainers, which are like your blood slaves in Vampire. Your kinfolk are often your direct family,
Yeah.
right? And while they
You-
might
you
represent,
you just said Jimmy's uncle is like
it's
not
like a
long.
non-person.
He's the one who taught me how to throw a baseball, and he took me to the Little League, and he paid for me to go to college. I'm gonna cut you.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm gonna cut you where you shit.
and there's a certain point. No selling is a problem. Just don't shit on other people's enjoyment. Like that's huge. If people are
If
like,
you're not
if you don't
feeling-
find it dramatic, that's fine. But try not to shit in somebody else's Cheerios, right? We realize it's only one dot off, and they can buy it back up. That's not the point. The point is that it's a tremendous moment of drama and role playing.
at that point, it's only $1 for your character sheet, and they can buy it back up. Well, your character sheet's a complete fabrication anyway, and you can just make a new one. So why even get attached to character? Moreover, why are you here?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're gonna play the game, play the game. There's
I'm not asking that you method act it. I'm
Right,
not asking,
yeah.
You don't actually have to
have to
turn
call
into
in
a
for-
wolf and drag a deer in by your teeth.
Yeah.
But and I'm guilty of it. I
Really?
slip out of character really easy. I really do.
Yeah.
I think most people do.
I slip out of character really easy. I like to tell jokes. I like to have a good time. And part of it is I have a big boy life like a lot of us do now. And this might be the only time I get to see these dudes or for a month. So I want to know how their kids are doing. I want to see your dog. I want to see pictures of your kids. And that's great. And then somebody else, I'll be in the middle of a tense scene and somebody I haven't
Getting
seen
old as gamers.
Yeah, somebody I haven't seen in 3 months walks in, and I'm like, I have to go say hello to them.
Yeah.
I might not see them again for a year.
I saw somebody I hadn't seen in literal years at last session.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Bill was there.
And some people have real shit going on, and you have to take them aside
I
and be
think
like,
I bumped
listen,
into him
I
at a movie
empathize.
theater parking lot like 2 years ago, but other than that, I
Yeah.
mean, we just didn't really. We're not in the same circles. I've got no ill will towards the man, but it was really nice seeing him. And if you haven't seen somebody in a couple of years, who you've known for a long time, albeit just through gaming. It was for a moment you got to be like,
well, that's honestly a real life first moment. You know, going back to the MH, like real life comes first. You see somebody you haven't seen in 2 years, you want to break character and say hello. Yes,
yeah, go do
absolutely
that.
do that.
And then when you're done, if you want to get back in the game, go back in the game.
Yeah, but don't shit. If somebody's in the middle of a tense scene where they're trying to sell something in character, don't shit on them.
Just leave the room.
Leave the room. Be cool about
just
it.
go walk off.
Yeah.
And handle it. Like, again, this is a game played as people prided themselves when a minor tried to join and amend the Constitution. This is a game for adults with adult players. And I don't mean that in the sort of puerile sense that a lot of people are like, it's an adult game, we should have all these awful themes.
And we should cuss.
Right. It's adult in the fact that we can deal with these things as adults, as rational, fully formed human beings.
And at some point you may have to pause the game and congratulate somebody on their child's birth.
Or their marriage, or their engagement,
Sure.
Or something
or
tragic.
just that they're there.
Yeah, that you.
I mean, the game is great, but the community that the game creates is better than the game.
Oh, here's the way to look at it. I think, and you correct me if I'm wrong. The community in the game, one could exist without the other. Which direction does it go in?
Oh,
You can have
absolutely.
this community with a different game. You cannot have this game without a
Yeah,
community.
games fall apart because their communities can become that
Toxic.
Yeah. So
Toxic are just people to stop giving a shit. Like
Yeah.
creating that sense of, I mean, family is way too strong a word, but camaraderie. But
Not my
camaraderie.
family.
depends on the family.
There are people
bro.
I have a hobby with. As somebody who has, or at least used to, I had a lot of hobbies. I did like a lot of different things.
Now you're grown up and you've got like one.
I've still got a couple, but like there were the friends I had who I participated in sports with all through school. There were the friends that I had that I played D&D and Shadowrun and Vampire with all through through different years of school, and they weren't necessarily the same friend groups. And different levels of bonding happen with different people, but in any individual thing you're going to do regularly with somebody, even as a hobby, you're going to make interpersonal connections and
I hope,
camaraderie.
unless there's something wrong with your ass.
No. I like to use the term more fellowship. Fellowship is good.
Oh, that's
It's
a
not,
good
it's
word.
not family.
That's a good word.
It's fellowship.
There's 9 of you.
That's not what I'm going for. It's
Too late.
It's part of the social fabric. These are your better than mere acquaintances, below true friends.
And that's really really true. The New Chronicles bringing old gamers back into our domain.
Yeah.
Somebody I haven't seen from 2011 back in February.
Yeah.
That's some real shit.
That's so cool that there's that level of hype and that people are enjoying this version of the game that much.
Yeah, and we've got 60-something games. It's a huge community. It's just a question of getting everybody going on the same page. I think we're going to be awesome. I think the Chronicles is starting off.
When
very
is the
strongly.
Toronto game? Do you remember?
It's today.
It's what?
It's today.
I'm not going to be able to go for at least a month. I got to renew my goddamn
It's the last
passport.
Saturday.
No, it was Sunday. I think it was today. Although Hamilton might have been today. I think Toronto might be third Sunday.
That's the one I'm supposed to go to.
If you're going, let me know. I'll go with you.
Yeah, eventually I
Absolutely,
might
let me
join
know.
you once I have a passport again.
Don't you have an enhanced license? Even I have
I said the
an
same
I
thing.
don't.
I said the same thing.
You're on the border.
You can see Ontario from your house.
Everything expired at the same time, and because the license expired and the passport expired, I couldn't use one to enhance the other. So what I got to do is take my regular license, go and get my passport, renew it again, then take my passport, and then if I want, double back and get an enhanced license, but I probably won't do it again because I won't need it because I have a passport.
Toronto is July 9th. Thanks, Colin. You the man.
Let me see if I can.
If you're free, I want to go with you, because I definitely want to go to Toronto and say, hey, what's up?
I want to yell at them for having their Karen on the 25th floor of a building.
I feel like we preach a lot of these things about what makes a responsible or adult game and what can make games better, but honestly, these things make the game more fun, generally speaking. I mean, it's not all dourness and Sturm and Drang. Like,
It is when I do it.
There's a fair bit of, if everything's going right, everybody's enjoying themselves. Like, they're having a good time. And, don't lose that either, because the fun, the fact that you chose to spend this Saturday hanging out, playing this game.
What's the date on the Toronto game?
9th.
July 9th.
July 9th?
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah, it's in 2 weeks.
So the Hamilton game's
shit.
probably before that.
Alexander Hamilton.
Or it already happened. One of the
Had a torrid affair, and he wrote it down.
It's a weird dude. You can't blackmail me. I'll ruin myself. And there's people who do that. They go into a self-destruction spiral.
I can, but someone's going to have to drive back because I'm going to have to sleep because I'm going to have...
I'll drive. I'll drive if you want to go.
No, I want to live.
I have never gotten myself killed driving.
No, but you have destroyed cars and hit a parked bus.
The bus wasn't parked. The bus stopped for no reason.
I know too much about this. I am not contributing.
And that was like 7 years ago.
Yeah, that park still that you still hit that bus. It doesn't matter when you did it.
It was only
It's
like
a
3
full-grown ass bus. It popped out of nowhere.
He learned his lesson.
Yeah, not to hit full-grown ass buses. That doesn't unhit the bus.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it either.
Brian's driven me around. I have confidence in his abilities.
You don't
He's
really.
always
You're,
walked
you're
away.
not that enamored of life.
Having driven with Bucky in certain vehicles with no brakes, I can say that, yeah, he will drive pretty much anything.
I was saying I have confidence in your ability.
Oh, yeah, no, that's right.
You
Yeah.
didn't have to crossfire.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then
But
fuck
I
you.
appreciate.
Could you guys
it.
stop filleting each other for like 5 minutes over your driving?
I don't like your
I can do that.
judgmental tone.
Yeah, I can do
Grown ass bus. It wasn't like a minibus. It was a grown ass bus.
Wait, what's happening that you can do?
I'm a little turnt.
A little turn?
Little
turnt? Yeah.
There was a lot of alcohol in that chair.
There's a little small amount. Alright, questions. Open the floor. Go nuts, guys. Hit us with something.
It can be personal. It doesn't have to be about the game. Let's get crazy.
Maybe this is a good opportunity to ask questions about us. I don't know.
That's why I said
Maybe
personal.
Maybe they kind of care.
Were you like not even paying attention? Were you
Okay.
formulating that answer in your head?
Listen up,
What?
Mr. I don't know what's right. I did hear you.
You did?
I was
It
just
doesn't seem like
agreeing with you.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Because you could have prefaced that like as Iggy said if you were.
I didn't realize you were so sensitive.
Are you
when
guys
your
going to
cups.
MessCon? We actually discussed this earlier.
No.
I can't get the time off work.
When
And
is that?
yeah, that's Austin in July.
Nope. It's in Austin in July. That's why.
We intend to be at least 2 cons next year, for what it's worth. Great Lakes and East Coast will definitely be at
I need
next
the
year.
dates so I can ask for the time off.
There was one other one we were gonna try to make. I don't know if we can make it.
It has to be on this side of the country, and it has to be less than 90 degrees. Those are my standard rules.
It depends. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I like going to events. It's just the ability to work it out between work and everything else. There's.
I can only attend so many like functions away from
I'm
the
behind
baby
on-
before the wife murders me.
I'm behind on some of my work anyway because when work comes up for me that is actually within my wheelhouse of criminal defense, there's no options. There's
You are
you
in
have
a
to
ho-
be in court Wednesday. There's no calling in. I like I'm burning goodwill if I ask the judge for any sort of extension of time, and I'm losing out on making a 30-30 motion later. I don't want to do that. Don't want to toll
All right,
time.
if you want to know how
Like,
far we're willing to go,
you're
take your protractor, your compass, whatever. Center the dot on Buffalo. Draw a line to almost Atlanta, and then draw a circle. We will go anywhere in that range for a game, pretty much.
It better be good if I'm going south of the Mason-Dixie or west of the Mississippi.
We've driven to Indiana.
It better
right?
be fucking good.
for an event.
Hey,
So we'll
What's
go
that?
to the Midwest. We've
yeah,
gone to
yeah,
Indiana.
yeah. That's less far. If I want to get a shard cairn seed for our local set from one of the great cairns in the game, how does the out-of-character process occur? There's actually a plot kit which your storyteller will have access to that we wrote called Planting Seeds. It will have answers to every question you could possibly have, and your VST will be able to answer that.
Challenge accepted.
So if your VST doesn't have access, ping me, and I will get it to them.
It can have answers for every question you could possibly have. Why doesn't my dad love me?
Any question you would
Checkmate.
possibly have about getting a plot like your cairn seed.
Fair enough.
Why did the dinosaurs die? Because you touch yourself at night.
No, that's fair. That is fair. Yeah.
You
Only at
crying
night.
is why mommy drinks.
Daddy drinks because you cry.
Mom just kept crying, and Dad.
Dad
Rokea
just
game
stood
of
there.
the month. The line is very high, Iggy. What's it, Greg?
The line? What line?
In the middle of the Atlantic. Oh, I don't know. Rokea
So
game of the
I think
month.
technically that means we'll go to Newfoundland.
First,
but you know what?
I don't mind cold. First
Yeah,
off,
cold's fine.
every game with Havelock is the game of the month, in my opinion.
That works for me. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
she's the shit.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. Who's that?
We're telling you, Amanda, that she's awesome
she's
again.
the best. She's the best Rokea. She's the creepy.
Oh,
one.
Amanda. Yeah, no.
Super creepy.
She's great.
I have serious trouble remembering her actual name. I
I'm
have no
terrible
trouble
at remembering
Havelock.
any names.
When is
Oh,
the
I don't
fetish
have that
creation guide will be done when Rules is done with it?
We're right here.
Sorry.
The mic's right there.
Sorry. The fetish creation guide will be done when Rules team is
The,
done.
the mic is so good. I had to turn off the dog's water. Why are you screaming?
I was excited.
It's okay. It's okay. He's so hyped.
The Mason-Dixie line is high. Yes, it is.
It's okay. It's okay. We're here for you. We're here for you. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, I'm good.
Can you whip them into doing it well?
Tina got hug?
Well, he can whip them.
Well, the doc looks good. I expect it out shortly. I'm already sending an email to Foster. I'll check in with him. I think we're just waiting on one or two things.
Into the
It's
middle
for
of the
rules
Atlantic.
too, right?
Listen, I do not mind having a game in the Canary Islands. Don't fuck with me. Don't test me.
We can
You
go
don't know.
where
You don't know. You don't know
Cloudy
me.
with
You
a
don't know
chance
where
of
I've been.
meatballs
Oh,
happen.
this is a classic one. I'm going to leave this one in Bucky's hands. I'm not touching it.
What?
What are your thoughts about Gorgon's gaze in line of sight? Does it prevent all powers since the general powers require line of sight? Can it be gotten around with closing your eyes and using wolf senses? What's up with Gorgon's gaze?
Read, gaze, and focus. Pretty clear. You can't just close your. If you have gaze and focus, and you Gorgon's gaze them, you lose your dodge pool for them.
Mhm.
You don't lose. So you don't just like lose your dodge pool for everybody. I'm pretty sure the way it's written is that they can't use dodge against you. Like they just can't dodge, right? But like if my packmate also shoots you, you can dodge that.
But can you just close your eyes and get your dodge pool back?
Again, this is a conversation. The reason that they have the gaze and focus rules is because
To stop dominate.
it was the domination. It was like, well, I'm wearing mirror shades. You can't dominate me. It's like that's not really the point. Or just have a character like you have a note on your sheet. I don't make eye contact. It's not just about eye contact. It's not just about that. No, it starts with gaze and focus, and then afterwards they have to avert their gaze constantly from you.
Mm-hmm.
That's also in the power. So then like. They can't use powers that have gaze and focus against somebody who has Gorgon's gaze, which is like that's kind of complicated. But I think just the way it is fine.
Nobody asks us personal questions.
It's good that they don't need to know.
Can you chop against multiple people with Gorgon's gaze? I'm pretty sure it's just a one-off.
I thought it was
No,
multiple
it's
people.
multiple people.
Can you hit multiple people with it at once? Oh, right.
Ask a Medusa how that would work.
Yeah, well, Medusas aren't playing werewolf, and there's no
Aren't they?
single target system. It might be. I don't know. I'd have to look at the power again, but I honestly think it's fine. Just averting your gaze isn't enough. They have your attention. You know they're using the power. You were terrified at this mythical.
He's not talking
personification.
about the dodgeball. He's talking about the immunity to gaze and focus.
No, you have to avert your gaze. It's magic. I mean, you're looking at your shoes. No matter how hard you want to look at them, you're looking at your shoes.
I'll ask a semi-personal question more about.
I think that's not to be a passionate
What's your guys'
answer.
plotting? What are you guys plotting to play in Cam Anarch? I'm not playing.
I'm not playing Cam Anarch. I'm rolling Sabat. And I'm rolling Jimmy McMahon. I'm going to be a hardcore pander movement enthusiast. But, Bucky, what are you playing in Sabat?
Well, I've got multiple things from multiple genres. For Sabat, I'm gonna make Spiritrix the Avatar of Perfection after a long time of planning the character. I want to play somebody.
Talk like that.
Yeah, tell them the story. Give them the elevator pitch.
No. It takes too long.
Yeah,
You'll hear of Spiritrix.
it's a prop. It's a voice. It's
everywhere you want to be.
It's everywhere you want to be, and it's somebody playing. I've always been fascinated by the paths, and playing something like that really takes a path to its craziest extension. And one of those for me is Metamorphosis, and I thought a really great way of doing that was making some. Like real, like not just like I'm just creepy looking or like I grew some extra limbs, but like something so deeply messed up or just totally just out of the wilds that it would be fun to play. It's kind of more of a background character. I get mostly to just be its ghoul. It's kind of complicated, but I'm sure you'll hear about it.
Okay.
For IA, I still kind of want to make a Giovanni. I haven't gotten around to it. I might make a Harbinger in Sabat.
I could be talked into playing Sabat. I want to put that out there.
Sabat's going to be great.
Help me make the Pander movement kick ass because everyone ignored the Pander movement and made their elder characters. I'm rolling in with a 14th, 15th gen character.
I don't think I'm going to be that old.
Done.
Because
I'll fucking
honestly,
join too.
I'm not gonna lie. My goal is to PvP and murder all you 5th gens out there as my 15th gen.
My goal is to basically now that here's me thinking of a character, a Grey Worm-esque character who never wanted to be a vampire, but now that he is, wants to kill every elder vampire for making vampires like him. I don't want return. I want to kill the masters.
It's good. I can get on board
go
with that. Basically, I'm going to be waiting in Sabat until the PvP queue opens, and then I'm going to kill all
Would
of
you rather fight a horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? It doesn't matter. I'm eating them. Spiritrix is love. Spiritrix is life.
Spiritrix is life.
There are people out there who know about Spiritrix and his absolute abhorrence for your flappy limbs and your mouths.
Pancakes or waffles, gentlemen?
Waffles. Waffles,
Pancakes
no question.
Yeah, it's waffles.
It's waffles. Waffles. Pancakes are fine. I'm happy to get a pancake, but if I can get the same thing that is in a pancake in a waffle. The waffle is just
Pancakes
better.
just remind me of the rough times when we had no money.
26 pancakes in an hour. Remember?
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
no.
rich.
But I'm saying when you're broke and when you're growing up broke and you got to feed everybody, you know, a box of pancake mix is from the dollar store is 99 cents, and you can kind of have we're having breakfast for dinner. Yay! Again, you're a kid and you're like, oh right, I forgot because we can't afford real food. Like that's just something you deal with. So for me, it's
The
always
taste
been
of poverty.
very House of Yes. Yeah,
That is very
for
accurate,
someone.
yeah,
The pancakes just remind me of like not the best times. Now a waffle you put fancy shit on like peanut butter. And,
You need an
know,
iron
or
for that
strawberries.
shit.
I imagine that the people who buy all of those things
Everybody-
have hats and talk about how it's good to land.
Everybody who's local to
Berries.
everybody who's local to Buffalo, go to Facebook and like a food truck called Das Waffle. They are the best.
Oh yeah. I know the guys who run it through the lodge.
Yeah. Also, Diablerie, the best way to power game in Sabat.
I will never Diablo.
First of all, I will disagree. Being of a shit gen and buying techniques forever,
I will never
Do you
Diablerize
eventually
to
lose
prove a
access
point.
to your techniques?
if you lose gens, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I will never
Elder
Diablerize
Power's not that
to
good.
prove a point. And the point is, it's about killing the masters.
Fuck yeah. How about chicken and waffles?
Never
we don't
had
do that
it.
here. This is the Northeast. We don't do that shit.
But we have chicken.
No,
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
We have chicken.
And we have waffles.
We have waffles, and never the twain shall meet.
We also don't
I
have
mean,
a
it's
White
not
Castle.
really a thing.
We're Benighted Savages.
It's so sad.
Oh my God, White Castle shits.
No,
Just-
Bojangles shits.
Bojangles.
Dude, Bojangles almost killed you, man.
This
I
is
will
where I always
die.
at Bojangles.
This is from being at
Our friendship
in
almost
Atlanta.
ended over Bojangles.
No, my back seat almost ended over.
It was
Bojangles.
my car.
You're right. You drove. Yeah.
White Castle sucks. How are we even friends?
Whoa,
Whoa,
Who
whoa,
was that?
whoa,
Because we're
whoa.
not friends anymore.
Cynthia, I thought we were cool. You're like our pseudo moderator, and now you betrayed us.
How dare you?
We're the creatives, and so we're allowed wild opinions. I
That's
guess.
fair. That's fair. Yeah.
They're just basically perfect.
I mean, what more could you want?
They're open 24 hours a day. You can watch them actually crack the eggs when they make your breakfast whenever you want it.
They don't have flappy lettuce. They're the perfectly formed burger.
Oh, I'm fucking with you. It's cracked. There we go. White Castle.
And we're
Back on there.
besties again. It's that easy. I'm really
Pepper
that
jack
easy.
cheese with the jalapeno mayo.
Oh.
Just clam strips. Whenever you want
Where
them.
is the
no,
nearest?
No matter how landlocked
Shut
the
up!
state you're
Shut
in.
up! And where's the nearest one?
Cleveland.
Really?
Yeah.
No, it can't be. Where's my fucking?
It's
phone?
pretty far.
Watch this. Okay, Google. Navigate to nearest White Castle.
Let's ask the internet.
I can't find nearest White Castle. Where did you want to navigate to?
It's that far.
It's that far. Google won't even find it.
It's like, no, you didn't mean White Castle.
You couldn't have meant White Castle
Because it's like 400
Google
miles away.
doesn't fucking know me.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch downstate.
try to-
Actually,
That's
Google knows
400 miles
absolutely-
away.
Navigate to nearest White Castle restaurant.
Google knows absolutely everything about me. Hi,
The
Basilisk.
nearest White Castle restaurant. Where are you headed?
Oh, wow.
Jesus.
Can't find the nearest White Castle. We're that far from White Castle. Life is pain.
Somebody with a desktop can probably figure it out.
It's Cleveland. It is Cleveland. Or maybe Pittsburgh.
What is this saying?
Whichever one's closer.
Other than our fast food preferences.
I'm not getting frozen White Castle. That defeats the point of White Castle.
Look, don't get me wrong. I can't.
The whole
eat-
point
I
of White
basically
Castle
can't
is
eat
that
any
it's
of
made
it anymore.
fresh
But I
right
was in
there.
the freezer section. I saw the sliders, and I was like, I just want to smell them, just maybe watch
The
somebody
Bronx.
eat them.
Where the hell is Whitehall? 241 miles is the closest one.
That's a bit of a
That's-
trek
that's a bit
for
of a
some
trek.
sliders. Not that I would. Well,
Impromptu one-shot LARP at the nearest White Castle. Meet us there.
that's why I like that they're open 24 hours. Dude, Friday or Saturday, 5 in the morning, White Castle, the greatest human experiences you can have. When the bars have kicked everybody out, and it's just stumblebums everywhere, and
Stumblebums!
and everybody wants
Actually, I like
nothing but delicious sliders.
203 miles. New Baltimore. Get directions.
New Baltimore. None of that old Baltimore shit. They've got like New The Wire happening there.
You can get new mugs, Nova mugs.
Okay, it's only 4 hours away if we cut through Canada by way of London, Ontario.
Oh, we just gotta go through Detroit. No, it's Port Huron. It's right in Port Huron.
there's
it's
a
so
crossing
close.
there.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, you
there is.
practically know
It's
the
Port
area.
3802. Yeah.
All right, what do we got?
New Baltimore, Michigan. Yep.
White Castle
I
moved
want to
at
do
the
the sphere tricks.
Bonar
Narmood at
White
White.
Castle. I only ever went to White Castle like 3 a.m. Never during the day.
Next con I'm at, we'll do a Bone Nar mood at the nearest White Castle. Next con I'm at.
I also
Let's
want to
do
use
it.
my Sabak character to support really bizarre causes, like not just the Panda movement, but also Nyakturigent.
Do you want to tell them what the Octuagint is?
So me and Brian, we were driving in the car
Okay,
discussing
that's enough of that.
spirituals
That's enough.
and his disgust for your flapping
tapping.
limbs and your fluids.
I'm tapping out. I'm tapping.
And he said, somebody should get together all of the
Give
priests
us
and
give us more
and
questions so that he will stop.
and
Let me
get
finish.
together and do the Book of Nod with all the different versions. And I said, oh, how brilliant. We can call it the
Bonars,
Octuagint.
like they exist in this cron.
Oh snap! Dungeon snap.
It's going to be a creepy character. I'm going to creep people out. It's going to be great.
You're gonna be a yoga ball.
I'm going to be a pearlescent yoga ball. I might put
See,
hair
here-
and teeth
here-
on it.
here's the
just to,
thing,
like,
here's the
really
thi-
up the creep factor.
Here's the thing about Bonars. I think they lost a lot of their flavors when they stopped being broke. What are they now? They're just dudes. They're just
Can
dudes.
Bucky do the rest of the episode in that voice?
No.
No, he can't.
Well, in point of fact, I certainly can. You see, the Octuagint will take the Book of Nod and then give a definitive version. One that your simple, feeble minds can understand. Unlike Spiritrix, the avatar of perfection.
I'm gonna beat you
You
to death with your
disgust
goal.
me with your noise holes.
RPG, join me in the Pander movement. We were going to take over the Pander movement and slaughter everyone. If you have a top app, we will kill you. It'll be beautiful.
I'm gonna
There's,
beat. I'm
there's
gonna. I'm
only
gonna. I'm
one
gonna.
person. There's only one person who may be watching this who Spiritrix dislikes, and that is that son of a bitch Cubator with his horrible 90-degree angles, like some sort of child's balsa wood creation, as opposed to the form of perfection, which is the sphere. I do plan on being a ghoul who carries around a yoga ball.
I'm gonna beat you to death with your goal.
I mean, I'm still gonna have like a war form. It's gonna be like I just imagine if he goes
You're
into his
so-
war form and opens, it's gonna be. I just hope unpleasantly moist. Like I need bags of pink slime.
No. The spinning things from the Star Trek episode 1 that has guns implanted in. You're just like, oh.
It's
Did
gonna
someone
be fun.
slip a measles vaccine into Bucky's drink? And Jesus fucking Christ, Bucky.
Your sickening measles vaccines mean nothing. You should come to the living mounts. It is moist. So moist. Some people find that word disturbing. I
A
find
little
it
salty because the
delicious.
Bone Nar list is dead. All right, here's my advice for everybody whose list is dead and everybody who's talking about their tribe like that.
Post-mall.
Be the change you wish to see in the world.
Obama!
Gandhi said that.
Obama!
Listen, you peasant.
If your
Know
list
your
if your list is dead, I'm gonna give you a personal challenge. You will post 4 posts, one on every other day. Pick topics that might seem controversial, but if you put out 4 posts and then you get no replies and your list remains dead, you can officially call your list dead. Until that point, you haven't tried.
And if you see somebody else posting, you should
Respond.
reply to it. And don't say, yeah, me too. Say something with meaning.
No, not yes, but yes and.
I see. The heart of improv.
No one's talking about the Rokea. The Rokea are doing fine. You Rokea? You guys are great.
You
I
guys,
love
are,
what you're
you
doing.
guys are immortal. Nobody cares what you think. You got all the time in the world. Fucking treants. Takes a lot of time to say anything in old Rokea.
No, that's whale, I guess. I wanted to make whale
How
noises.
are you doing?
I imagine that there was a comedian who said it.
That was from fine. That was from,
No. Not the whale sock. What shark must sound like is I imagine sharks, if they had a language, would sound like German if you spoke it with a mouthful of knives.
Yeah, I'm happy with the Glasswalker list. It's that is a very accurate description of it. And you guys are basically building a baby Shrek net. It's kind of adorable.
well, they should.
Sounds boring.
Well, for different types of play.
Yeah.
That's the thing is we want to give people a bunch of options for what they can play. There's no right way to play a tribe. There's plenty of
Even
wrong
any
ways.
indi-
But there's
a lot of wrong ways.
There's a lot of wrong ways to play a tribe, but there's many different right ways.
Yes. And it's a whole spectrum. See, once things are a spectrum, everybody's on them. That's how those work. It's true.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't.
fair.
I don't think that's
I
funny.
can't read that.
Hashtag we're on the spectrum.
I don't think that's funny.
Well, we're on
Well-
a spectrum. They don't mean that as like the pejorative.
Let's move on.
Okay.
That wasn't where I was going. Anyway, what else we got?
I've got a personal question for you guys.
Sure. What could you possibly not know about us?
What? You talked about my penis earlier.
Well, everybody knows about that. Fiona started with R-Ray talking, then got quiet. I tried kicking it off with getting the RP for currency. Discussion RP started.
Yeah, do you know why the artery stopped talking? Because he's missing. The artery has been missing for 3 months now. Maybe you guys should see what's going on with that.
Fuck him.
Oh,
by
that's
the way.
fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Fuck him.
Yeah, okay. Hi, Havelock. I want to hug you. Everyone wants to hug
I don't know.
Havelock.
I don't know where the Ardric went, but I know where he should go, and that's to hell.
Ooh, strong opinions.
I don't like him.
I don't like him.
I don't like him. I don't like anything about
He
him.
calls himself a high king. Not appropriate for a silver fang.
A non-silver thing.
Not silver. Yeah. Yeah.
Got some off-screen chocolate with cherries in it. Whatever, dude. I fit into my armor. That's all I needed.
Yeah, I should show you my belt. This is ridiculous.
Hot. When Bucky takes off his belt,
No, this is
but only to
look at
hit you
this.
with.
This is the extra belt now.
You have an extra belt?
That's just
No,
penis.
like
Don't let him fool you.
all right, whatever. Such a dumb conversation. If it could even be described as that.
You
You guys are getting deeper in your cups, and I'm here, stone sober.
deeper. Watch me sober up. Psych.
All right, we have 15 more minutes to fill, boys. Questions? Anybody want to know anything else? We are here, drunk, and at your disposal.
Well, at least if somebody comes up
This
with
is the
something
season
fascinating to
finale,
talk
by the
about,
way.
I will,
This is the season finale, so this might be your last chance to ask a question.
until like
for about 6
late
weeks.
August or
Late August or early September. We might come back freaking like Labor Day.
Are there plans for furthering the plot around conflict to inspect the Sanctum and Concordat?
We don't need the help.
Wait for MassCon.
We don't need the help.
yeah.
We got it.
I think it needs help in local games. I think there are local games where, especially because Sanctum...
Well, things are static based
Well, no,
on the people that roll.
Well, you'll have two players play quote-unquote hardcore Sanctum PCs, which means, quote, they're just an asshole. Sanctum doesn't mean asshole. Sanctum means traditionalist. But a lot of players roll Sanctum asshole. When the only hardcore Sanctum players are assholes, it really hurts the Sanctum play.
Yeah, Sanctum players could, and we've covered this in other they may have been some of the lost episodes, but you can completely be like, look, you're fair, you're great, but you have your own job and generally your own litanies. Go do those things, and we will handle our things.
But
But if you want to be in
because
our
that's
club, you have to buy our laws.
Right, if you want to join,
I don't think I'm
you
asking
can
that
join.
much. You can be an American if you want, but then you can't do the things Americans cannot do.
Right.
Will you have a plot or something to where Farrah can hold set positions and be recognized for it? No.
Dumb.
We will never.
No.
Again, 2 parts. 1, we will never have a plot for that. 2, there is a mechanism in place to deal with your counselors, and the counselors can vote to pass it. So if you want Farrah to have set positions, you should be screaming at your counselors, "Hey, asshole, you represent me."
Lobby.
And or replacing them.
Listen, lobby them,
Kill them, replace them,
lobby them,
lobby them.
Yep.
blackmail them.
Yep.
Alright.
Nobody's blackmail proof. Lobby them, blackmail them, replace them if they're intransigent. Shit ain't hard.
The Fianna counselor is missing right now. Just throwing it out there. That's a good start.
The first domino had to fall somewhere.
But no, we're not going to have a plot with it. This has to come up from the players. And
Because
there are-
otherwise, it's the STs are telling you what the new rules are, and you get that. You get enough of that in pretty much at the 0-day launch.
Be
of what
the
setting-
change you want to see.
I
Yeah.
hate top down. I player-driven plot. If you're gonna be in a network, multiplayer, multi-city game,
Is that
it
Amanda?
has to be
Yeah.
player.
God, I worship you. Look at what she fucking said.
I know, she'll go.
I could eat everyone that says no because gulp is a thing.
Yeah. The other thing
I used to say that there was no problem that couldn't be solved with the proper application of high explosives. That was a thing for like years. Now I don't think there's a problem that can't be solved with the proper application of gulp.
that's fair.
Well, it depends on which edition of the
Yeah.
book you have.
Depends how you gulp.
But yeah, if you want
They're already
to,
dead.
if you want to support faction play in local games, that's really not National's role. Although if your ST needs tools or advice, unlike you bother me 24/7, I will respond when I'm alive. Like your VSTs can bug me. I'm in the ST Facebook group all the time. If your ST needs help with support, talk to me about it. But we're not going to be microing what local games are doing too much because that's not possible and it makes the game less fun.
Can I solve atomic bombs with high explosives? That's actually how the nuclear reaction gets started. There is an explosion inside of the nuclear material that kickstarts the
That's
reaction.
deep. That's
So
deep.
yeah, no, absolutely, you can solve atomic bombs with explosions. Good to know.
It's good. It's good.
If you gulp a live nuke, does that end you gulping things? Well, you can.
Well-
every Rokea can gulp a nuke once, at least once.
Well
At least
played.
once.
I mean, solving gulp with nukes. Yeah, that one time.
It's both things.
Oh, there's an actually. Where do you get your water? It's from a well, actually.
Archangels. Our friend Katie and Mathlete asks about Archangels. Day 1 went well. Bucky's playing in that with us online.
It's online now?
I
Yeah, we
posted
did-
like 80 times that it was happening.
You can join.
Yeah.
There's,
Is
there's-
Azrael taken?
Yeah.
No thanks.
Okay.
it's
Who's not taken?
Eli and Andrea Fellis.
Which one's Azrael Phyllis?
The Angel of Love.
Oh, I gotta do that.
Whoa, shit.
please join. I
We
would
have, we
love
have
to
two.
have
We
you.
have 2 sessions left.
I am in.
All right, we
When's
have
the
2
next
sessions
one? Next week?
Sunday. Yeah, next Sunday.
Oh, I'm gonna be in California.
I know.
I'll try to.
If
dial
only you
in.
had internet there.
Well,
There
it's
is
whether or not I
California.
can
There
do
is no
things
internet in
Sunday.
California. Only marijuana.
Yeah, you really didn't have to know anything. I was thinking about recording the sessions, but that seemed like a dick move. But I think it's really kind of cool, and I want to.
People really liked it.
It's part of what I really want to be doing is experimenting more with running LARPy stuff online, not in text format. We tried to run it as video and failed because
You have that many people in one video chat, and it just starts kicking people, and the stability drop and packet loss is crazy.
Well, I tried to play like 10 different. I not tried to play. I tried like 10 different programs and things to run with a live video chat group thing. And except for Roll20, which doesn't work for a lot of reasons because we needed separate rooms. There really isn't anything that works.
Well, non-premium Roll20. You can have a lot of rooms with Roll20.
Well,
but
sure.
You gotta get
Alexia said that you said video. Now she wished she had joined.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll cede my Archangel of Love
Well, there's
spot.
2 slots. There's still Eli as well.
What's Eli doing again?
Angel of Inspiration.
Yeah, it's inspiration and love are still up.
You know what? I'll let Alexia pick which one she wants. You pick first. I'll pick the other.
Yeah, tabletop simulators, they're good, but they don't quite do what you want to do
I
for
feel
a
like we
LARP.
are.
Not for this. This is a much more thinky talky type thing. Like having pieces on a board isn't gonna having a white mat in general
Isn't
like, it
going to
can't-
help.
it's-
She
it
wants
doesn't really
Eli,
help.
so I'm gonna take.
All right, well-
I'm gonna take.
Well, ping me later. We'll talk about it.
All right.
We'll give you the deets.
Who's playing Ezreal?
I'd have to check.
Stephanie?
I don't recall.
Sure.
I would have to check the list. I don't have it in front of me. Oh, no! What are we talking about? Ezreal's Jamie.
Jamie. That's. Why did I say Stephanie?
She's fucking terrifying. She actually costumed for it?
She did. It was
That's
great.
I was planning on costuming for the Archangel of Love.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, you could do it. You just have to be you.
Go.
You see what I did?
Wait.
She's so handsome.
Do you know? Do you lean forward? Just come here. Do you want to see me hold the whole world in my hands? Because you're my whole world, bro.
I'm Samael. Wait, why are you backing off suddenly?
Oh, so Amanda asks if we're coming to MessCon.
No.
4th time, no. We
it's
can't
hot,
make it to
it's
Austin.
in Austin. It's
We
July
couldn't make
9th.
it.
I'm out of town.
It's south of the Mason-Dixie. It's over 90 degrees.
I will be
No.
in the LA area for like a week. I don't know if I'm going to have any time to do anything. If there's a local game out there,
I will be in Pennsylvania
I might
sometime
get
in August,
permission to
but
check
you
it
don't.
out.
You probably won't see me.
But we'll be at a bunch of ones next year because they're more in our neighborhood next year.
Yeah.
So assuming that we actually still exist next year at this
I
time.
really need the dates because my vacation solicitation time's coming up soon, and
What?
I've got enough seniority for it to fucking matter.
Well, the dates will be on mindsociety.org.
whenever.
Yeah,
they come
I'll
out.
check that.
Okay, cool.
No, I mean I meant that sarcastically.
Oh.
Please send me the dates.
Okay. There's a featured game of the month in Raleigh in November,
Where the hell's Raleigh?
North Carolina.
Is
you
it
know-
south of the Mason-Dixie?
What-
By
when-
definition,
when is
yes.
No.
When is
But it'll
it?
be cooler.
Hang on, when is it?
November.
Well, I mean, Gary lives there. I've been looking for an excuse.
Might be fun.
He's got space.
Where's
Might
he?
be it.
Gary's where now?
Lives in Raleigh.
He's in Raleigh?
Gary?
Didn't he? Oh.
Did he lose a bet?
No, he moved there for work, and I remember I put him in a group chat with Laura. I'm like, this is my friend Gary I've known since puberty. Like, he's been in the area for years now, if you need a local guy. But yeah, Gary's down there. He's still big in the board gaming community.
Hey,
He has his own... Hang on, just for a moment, just to give
Well,
him
before
his props.
before we do that,
Gary has his own diplomacy opening named after him.
But we don't talk about diplomacy.
I'm just
anymore.
saying, if you think you're
not after what
hardcore-
happened to Doug.
no. Amanda, if you can get us the deets on the Raleigh game, we'll see if we can crash it. That would be cool.
That might be great on a lot of levels.
Yeah.
I could drag Gary to game. That would be nice.
Gary has to play Silverfang. Done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because he was born as Shadow Lord. So
He was
it'd be
born as
perfect.
Shadow Lord. Yeah. I was just about to say that.
I wish he was watching because that would.
There's a
make
story
this
about.
so
We don't
perfect.
talk about Doug.
You don't talk
Not
about
after
that.
diplomacy.
Not after. Why diplomacy makes me so angry.
I fucking love it. I was some of the best times me and my gaming group had in our formative years was testing our friendships with diplomacy. You find out a lot about somebody.
Yeah,
They
like
play
you can't,
France.
Like you can't trust someone to support you in a Sevastopol.
What? You needed a good killing.
You are like. There's always one arc betrayer in every group.
Hey.
Even to his own detriment, he will betray you.
He managed to betray somebody playing the Space Hulk card game, which is a co-op game where you fight Tyranids. He threw another player to
I had
their
like one
death.
health left. I didn't want to
So
die.
You had 2 characters. He had
You
1.
Yeah, but I didn't want to lose my
Threw
character.
the game to the Nids to save yourself.
For a
The
round.
The game that you're playing is always a different game than everybody else is playing.
I didn't want to die. I
Like your
had a whole
Space
backstory
Marines
on
did.
Jimmy. Jimmy had a great backstory. He was just trying to get home to his wife, man. He had 2 children. 2 kids. They're all less than 4. They're little kids. Just want to get home.
He's a space marine.
See,
He
no
doesn't-
one
creative.
wants to die
It's
in
creative.
He's a space
No one
marine.
wants to
He's
die
a
in
space marine. He doesn't have children.
Oh, but he
In
had
any
children
event.
of his heart.
No, he doesn't. He's a space marine.
Of his heart.
Which one?
Special-
He has 2.
Special dispensation.
No, that's not how that works at all.
In any event, what's on the chat now? Other than just ragging on
See,
Brian.
now they're saying I do not win by being a dick. I
No.
often lose by being a dick.
Yeah, you don't win. You
Well,
were
hang
just a dick.
Let me temper this. Well,
This
and,
is
and
mean.
I've mentioned it before. While Brian has killed the overwhelming number of my characters in any game we've ever played together,
Thank
in
you,
any genre.
Radnos13.
That said,
Ama-
we did have some hot
Amanda.
characters together.
Oh
for
my
like
God,
the
Amanda
better
was
part of a decade.
Amanda was meant to be your bestie.
Fuck humies? I don't know what that means.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he does.
Well, green is best.
and orange is green, and
Yeah.
green is best.
Because orcs don't lose. Because we either win, or sometimes they kill all of us, but then we come back and win anyway, so it totally doesn't count as losing. This is quote the great orc philosopher. Well, it's even one of the Eldar philosophers said that the orcs were the perfect race.
Fucking-
See, there's dark Eldar, there's
Jesus
chaos humans,
Christ.
but there are no chaos orcs because green is best.
Okay, that's it. Nuke it from her orbit. Exterminatus. It's the only way to be sure.
Alright, are we nuking this thing from orbit?
No.
Oh,
She says, I love you, and someone else said Wog.
both are accurate.
And true and bright.
DACA, DACA, DACA. Alright, that's it.
More Flash is better. I like to think of us as Flash
Yeah,
kids.
that sounds like heresy.
I'm just when they first announced the Warhammer 40k MMO, Iggy came up to me. He's like, "Bro, this is gonna be a 40k MMO. We gotta make characters." I said, "Yeah, that'd be awesome." He's like, "So we're totally gonna be Space Marines." I said, "Yeah, it's gonna be super sweet." He's like, "Oh, I can't wait to play." I'm like, "Right, blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull." He's like, right, "Wait a second. I was like, "You just said Space Marines. You didn't say good Space Marines."
I mean,
Magic
this-
is heresy. I go out of my way to never play with
The
magic.
Skull Throne does not have enough skulls, and it's called the Skull Throne. How can you let something not be a successful tautology of itself?
Paint everything red to make it go faster.
Absolutely.
Red ones go faster.
Yeah, that's fair.
This is known.
Yeah.
I like orcs. They have a certain something
Je ne
that
sais quoi.
yeah that I,
Well,
I
they're
just,
Kerbals. How do you go wrong with Kerbals?
well Kerbals are orcs. Orcs are not Kerbals. There is a difference there.
I actually prefer IG.
I mean, especially in the games, Imperial Guard were some of the most fun to play.
Because you have to actually think.
Yeah, I can't
You
wait
can't
for
just
them to
win.
make.
You have to
I
be
can't
clever.
wait because they made Total War Warhammer. I want them to make Total War Warhammer 40k.
Yeah, the superior one, yeah.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Yeah, and I will play IG, and I will destroy you with my basilisk. My men may tire, but my guns never sleep.
Look, I think we can all agree on one thing, and that's fuck Tau. I think we
Oh,
can
God.
all agree with that.
Fuck your space
No, whoa.
communism.
First of all, as an actual communist, I have no problem with the Tau.
I have no problem with communism. I have a problem with Tau. Because they're caste-based communists. It's bullshit.
Cat. Oh, because of their rigid caste system. Yeah. No, it is a problem. They do have a lot to
The
answer
historical
for.
dialectic
But can
will
you
resolve that
Can you
eventually.
honestly say that the Tau are worse than either variant of the Eldar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ugh. I disagree.
You can.
Their craft worlds are nothing but the last gasp of a dying and debauched race.
Iggy is proud of his space Nazism. Theological-based fascism does make sense when you have dark gods thirsting for your blood forever.
That's the thing. 40K is totally. If you think bad thoughts long enough, you sprout tentacles and kill all your friends. It isn't our world.
In a world with Nurgle being a space fascist theologist makes sense.
Right. There is an objective evil, and the way to avoid that is through the Emperor, who is also the literal light and way, as space navigation is impossible without him.
For humans.
For him, well, right, because he is the Astronomicon.
And they perverted his word. He was an anti-theologist.
I'd like to welcome all of you to talking about Warhammer 40K. We're on quite a roll
It's
here.
a great genre.
It's basically werewolf. You think bad thoughts long enough, you sprout tentacles.
Oh yeah, no, it's the button is there. I always wish that they made a game.
Back to Werewolf for a second. We can't say this enough. That the best thing whenever you get a player with a very mild, infinitely mild corruption, is you just have the Bane possessing them do one thing, and that's just give them a tentacle.
Should I go off on my rant?
Oh, do it, go.
We've done it before. It's been done.
It could have been in a lost episode.
Do it.
No.
You're fine. Do.
It was like 3 episodes ago.
No.
Wow, you just shut him the fuck down.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm good at that.
I guess I'll just.
A drunk
shut
guy
the fuck up
sucking
then.
on a cork told you that, by the way.
In any event, so last game there was a lot of like, oh, what did the Bane take from it? What am I gonna give up for chaos? Like, or not chaos. I'm sorry, the worm, and like, what part of me is wormy? And
Do it in the voice, Bucky. I fucking hate you, Dark Puppy.
the
11.
spirit.
Wait, Dark Puppy 11. That's got to be Mark.
No, Mark is
don't
Puppy
think-
Dreams.
Yeah, he's Puppy Dreams.
Who's Dark Puppy?
I have no idea. And, a fan and a good person. We'll back that
One
up.
of those.
All of our fans are great people.
That's
I can
true.
Say that.
The best of them.
Absolutely.
You're the best of MES.
Nope, it's Jay. I don't believe you. You're Mark.
Well, you're Mark. That's your new nickname. It's a terrible one, but that's it. So there was a lot
Liar.
of Banes corrupting things and trying to get people to really like over machinated gilded lily type extended plots of corruption, and I'm gonna lure you in with a siren song
We're the
instead of
elite
just
of
being like,
MES.
hey, what's up, buddy? I'm a Bane that possessed you. I made you grow a vestigial tentacle out of your neck.
Nothing else.
What does it do? Oh, it doesn't do anything. You don't get any more actions.
It's just a mole.
It's just basically right. It just has suction cups, and it's just there, right?
Suction cups.
Right, it's just got suction, and it's just coming
Whenever
out
you
of
get
your
excited, it wiggles.
no, it's there, and
In all forms.
And here's the thing: it's going to regenerate. It's just something I did to modify your body, and that's it. That's what I'm doing. It's just a real basic level of corruption. I haven't actually turned you. You don't agree with me on any of these things, not on a philosophical level. But that said, you have a tentacle coming out of you. Your friends are going to kill you. They're all going to murder you. They don't give a shit. They don't care at all.
They won't check.
They're not going to. They're going to be like, oh, he has a tentacle growing out of him. He's got to die.
They
And
won't risk it.
It won't.
They won't risk it, even if they check and clear you, because they will check, because they like you,
Right.
because you're a nice guy. They'll check. They'll realize that you're clear, but they won't be able to risk it, and they'll kill you knowing you're innocent. Those
You
are
wanna-
your friends.
Right, you want to turn somebody, you just give them a little vestigial tentacle, and you're like, it's cool. That's
now
all
you
I did,
now
bro.
you have literally no choice.
I just think you need to reevaluate your worldview, because all the people who love you are going to be your murderers.
no. This it's like so. All right. Tell me if this works rules wise, Bucky. You're my rules guy on this one. Okay. Now
I don't know if there are rules for this.
No, there's a rule for this. I'm the Bane. I infect Brian.
Hi.
Brian has a vestigial tentacle. You're the truth catcher. You have a bunch of Philodox. You guys scour him for taint. He's got
Right.
none. He's just that little bit of taint. If you cut it off, it'll grow back. You realize, you guys come together and you realize you have two choices. You can either let a guy with a vestigial taint hang around, or you can kill him. You decide to kill him, knowing he's innocent. He's begging you for forgiveness.
Might be innocent, or could just have the worm merit, where his actual levels of taint
So-
are undetectable.
so
there's,
or
no
is it
way,
Shadow Lord?
there's no way to
Wait,
clash
wait,
Shadow
that
Lord's
way
dead.
for
Wait,
Shadow Lord.
wait. So we're removing Brian from the situation. You guys have to make a choice. You can't be 100% sure he's innocent. You can't be 100% sure he's guilty.
If he's innocent, then the totems will judge and he'll be reborn.
Yeah, but so you're going to kill him. You've just killed an innocent man, and you've made that choice.
I think a lot of Philodox would do that.
Welcome to some worm taint. And my job as a
Oh, that would be great. I would love
Wait,
to
wait.
lose renown, because the spirits are like, bro, it just gave him a tentacle. You gotta lighten the fuck up.
wait. No, I want to give him worm taint. And the thing is, I'm that worm tainting spirit. And I'm like, I'm not even really trying to taint you. You're a vehicle to tainting them. Because while I'm tainting your physical form, I'm tainting their souls when they judge you. Sorry,
I do
bro.
like when werewolves, especially a whole pack of them, like wipe out a whole bunch of humans in terrible, terrible ways, torture information out of people, and generally just be total
Monsters?
scumbags. Just be like, you got worm taint. They're like, but I wasn't vomited on by anything. No. But you showed some gold star worm attitudes.
There was a player who posted on my wall, like, yeah, we took out a Pentax facility and we only killed 10 normal people. I was like, well, yeah, I made that face.
I hope you get worm taint. Killing is of the worm.
You know what? You get me drunk enough, and I'll tell you a story about that from real life. Not drunk enough yet. Definitely not going to do it online.
I will.
That's fair.
Okay.
All right. Well, what else we got?
Like not killing innocent spiral kin. Yeah.
That
Make
is
a
a
choice.
great question.
Spiral.
Killing innocent spiral kin. That is interesting.
It depends
They're
how
gonna breed.
it depends how innocent they are.
No, they can absolutely be 100% innocent. What if they're even striving for something better?
That's why I say bite them.
Can something?
so that they
Can
become
something?
kind
Can
werewolves,
something be?
but I don't know if
Can
that'll
something
actually
be the kin
happen.
of two tribes at the same time?
No.
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 Mechanically, no.
Okay. Spiral kin.
Yep.
Marries a glasswalker kin.
That'd be an awkward wedding.
They're children. She's pregnant.
Okay.
You don't know what it's gonna be.
Right.
Do you let her live? Do you let it live?
That is not a plot line I'm interested in exploring personally, but I'm sure there are storytellers who will run that.
Yep.
I think
Everybody always wants the spirit of the lupus skin for some goddamn reason.
spare the lupus skin with the BSD lupus skin. Just bite them and make them into good guy in lupus. I'm sorry, I'm getting my PC's attitudes into my regular attitudes. I just think it's worth a shot. Take them out of the cycle. Put them in the good one. Welcome to the winning team.
Do you know a lot of Roman history? Arminius, ring a bell?
Yeah, well, again, this is a magical world where if you're on one philosophy's side, you go into a cycle of rebirth where you keep coming back as a better version of you, sort of. With access to your magical ancestors.
You turned me into a Get Offenders with the bite, but I was I was a Shadow Lord, and I was not Shadow Lord. I was
BSD.
a Spiral. I was a BSD, and I grew up and I realized I fucking hated you. I hated what you did to me. That was, and then I fall, but I take you with me. Arminus, it's a thing. Look it up.
Sure.
Schutenberg, it's real.
I'm just saying.
Well, yeah. Everyone's favorite forest, if you're...
Bearers, give me back my allegiance.
All right.
I don't think we can top that, and we've been on for
Oh,
2 hours.
This is
No,
the
no,
season
this is
finale.
fine.
I want to know what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah,
know what's
I
going
want-
on.
I
You
want
guys have been
questions.
drinking.
I want-
I haven't. I want to have.
Bucky,
I want to
you
enjoy
on the
this.
floor.
Even
Hang on.
though I've
Bucky
been
has the
drinking,
floor.
I think I'm still making valid and humorous points.
Okay.
I'm
What do we
better.
got? You stupid level for. Okay. Well, I mean,
To be BSD kin though.
well,
That's what NPCs are for. And you should treat them like real people. Let me tell you, some of the best role playing out of the last Cron came out of somebody who decided to treat NPCs like NPCs and then got NPCs as a PC response. And they did not enjoy it.
So weird.
Strange that. If you treat, I guarantee you, especially with Brian as the ANST, if you treat NPCs like NPCs, in about year 3, you're gonna wish you fucking hadn't.
well, because it's a terrible habit of gamers.
No, it's a terrible habit of gamers, and that NPC's cousin doesn't care that you consider them an NPC.
Right. And
They
because-
don't know... The important thing is they don't know they're NPCs. No one ever told these characters that they don't matter. So...
from the lowliest mook
yeah.
and Fomor that you're or whoever, just a rank 1 goon with a baseball bat. When you torture that person to death,
And you leave the body to be
wanted-
found?
right? And like
I think every storyteller should have a list of things that they intend to bring up in 2 years if the characters are still active.
oh,
You
absolutely.
should
No.
absolutely have that
Bring
list.
it up that the characters aren't active. Why are we dealing with this guy? Well, a dude that died tortured his daughter, and he's been looking for them ever since. Because there are some things in life that you cannot let slide.
Just frapping people with your werewolf powers to get their information.
That's great. That's great.
That's one of them.
That's absolutely great.
Well, it'd be really awkward if you've been murdering humans for the last 2 years, and then year 3, as a reaction to that, reckoning hunters show up. Good luck with that.
And the guys who started it are all dead.
Yeah.
But the hunters give zero fucks.
Iggy this, exactly this. Yeah, no, completely right.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with them.
There needs to part of role playing
do
that a lot
they
of
not
people
know?
forget beyond just the
About what?
sort of
About that?
No, I don't think we ever talked about it on stream.
My character.
Whoa, here we go. It's happening. We're going in.
My character in the last Chronicle actually came in because as a
Do the
nod
full
to Brian.
reveal.
Oh,
Yeah.
the full reveal.
Why not?
Really?
The game's over.
No one cares. Is what the point is.
But they might sort of care.
One person said talk about it. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Fine.
And I
Don-
yield the floor to you as the sober person who wants to keep
Sure,
the last
fine.
episode for the next month and a half.
It's
Go
fine.
ahead.
I was just a normal storyteller when this happened.
All right,
to
so-
be clear, I was
so-
not a national staff.
So whoever remembers the last Crown, Don Crown and a couple other people ended up killing the Abbots, who were some NPCs who did some questionable stuff for House Gleaming Eye. And they killed them and they murdered them and they're like, oh, they're NPCs and let's all promptly forget about that.
They
In fact,
killed them bad.
They killed them bad.
Like,
they killed them real
tortured
bad.
them before the Philodox even got a chance to judge them.
They asked House Gleaming Eye for what happened or if they were actually sanctioned, and they didn't wait for a response before they killed them.
Because
So-
the initial response to House Gleaming Guy is like, dude, it's beyond your pay grade. Secured clearance or whatever.
So Brian said, man, wouldn't it be great if somebody gave them some comeuppance for killing those NPCs like they didn't matter? So I was like, bet. I played their half-brother as...
it did actually go down. Like, you
I was
directly
not
said
assigning.
it.
I was not assigning Angels of Vengeance.
You
against
know,
these
you know exactly what you need to do to hook me.
You heard about
Don't
this
even lie.
storyline and was like,
Well, they gotta pay.
but what if they were good guys?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I mean, they were destroying hives.
They
They
did kill a
killed-
little worker.
And they killed a mage. Like, they were doing pretty terrible stuff, but they were also wiping out. Like, what they were doing was incredibly morally gray, leaning towards black. But if you were that person's cousin,
Brother.
brother,
I was their
also-
half-brother. I was the little brother who looked up to them. And you killed them, and you didn't give them a chance to them. They surrendered
well,
themselves.
and did them dirty. They did surrender.
They
themselves.
They surrendered themselves. They were no risk for fleeing. They surrendered themselves for judgment.
And were
you
immediately tortured.
And you killed
Before
them
they
out of
were
hand.
I will say one thing about this plotline that impressed the shit out of me, because this is something that all players should master, and that's hiding something about your character in plain sight and just not drawing attention to it. Because his character, Miguel Castillo, would always trace his lineage through the female line. Nobody ever asked about his male line. His entire character implodes the moment anyone asks what his male line descent
And
is.
he never,
And no one-
ever lied.
Yeah,
That was a character quirk. I couldn't, not that I could not lie. It was beneath me to do so. I would not lie, and I never had to because nobody ever bothered to ask.
I mean, having an alt identity is a very high approval as it's supernatural, but just very ballsingly bluffing is not an approval.
So I
And
a
came,
lot of it's just tood.
so I came in as a Cleoth Philodox looking for revenge against Dawn Crown, one of the contenders for the High King of the Garo Nation.
Less revenge, more justice for the abbots.
It was both. It was a combination.
that wasn't
of
something
revenge
I
and
was
justice.
pushing, but that was definitely what you
So
were pushing.
so the character went from Cleoth Foster Nobody to King of his house, and
And in the end, what did you do in the last session? This is my favorite part about this. Is what did you do in your last session?
well, hold on. I was picked to be the judge between Sabine and Dawn Crown for who would get the silver crown for the Garo Nation, and so there was my moment to just get revenge. But instead of just like throwing the contest one way, I just made it super hard on everybody, so that even if Dawn Crown won, in a way he would still lose everything.
And in the last session, you died to save Dawn Crown.
Yes, because that
Th-
was
that-
the thing.
well,
that-
this is
the
the
world,
closing
the
to the arc.
literal world was at stake.
This is the great thing about Werewolf. Is in the end, in the final measure, he died to save Dawn Crown.
Because Dawn Crown's who we needed in that moment. So at the very last moment, there was a attack group going, a bad guys going to Sabine, but Sabine was in the back and Dawn Crown was leading this thing in the front. And if Dawn Crown fell, the entire Garu army would collapse and the entire nation would collapse. So my character had a choice: save Sabine, who, no lie, he was somewhat in love with, or go save Dawn Crown, who he loathed to the point where he made his life mission ruining his life. And then, having ruined most of his life, realized
You did. You were pretty thorough.
the Garu Nation was more important than my petty revenge,
Yeah.
and I threw my entire Sept's lives away, making sure Dawn Crown lived to see another day.
Yep, the
It's a
entire
great use of a character.
sept of Falling Waters died to save Dawn Crown, and Sabine died.
And even though they all pretty much hated him.
We all, to a person,
Yeah.
loathed Dawn Crown.
Oh god.
And every
the
one of
entire
them-
Sept of
And
Buffalo
every one of
hated
them
him.
laid down to save Dawn Crown.
Because
And we killed them all graphically. Yeah,
Because I asked.
yeah, they died. Yeah, they died because.
So
you asked
from
them to.
Cleoth Nobody to
Some of my
king of a house.
creations were used in
getting
that
a
final
revenge.
battle. I was pretty proud of some of the stuff I churned out.
I don't think I would have been able to do that.
Have big tough things to kill.
And it's something that Sabine would have wanted me to do, was how I justified it as the character. I waited 3 years to get revenge. I came in there looking for revenge, and I waited. My mother once said something about me. She said I had the patience of a spider. It was not a compliment.
Yeah, I mean, having these great arcs, even if they only get to appreciate them in webcast in a totally different chronicle, it's just...
I got some high fives for that one.
Well, no,
And a drink.
What I'll say is having a long, involved arc for your character, and then at the last moment saying nah, is
It's hard.
I really, of all the things I've seen you do in RP wise, that is something I commend the highest. It is amazing to see a player do that. Of work for something for 3 years, as the character goal.
Have an almost entire completely achieve the goal and then going this far, no further.
Yep, and then walking away. Yep.
What else we got?
Yep. You hated him, but were loyal to the nation enough to die for him. Yep.
Yeah, so
It's good.
It was a really cool arc.
oh, and having
really cool
having
arcs.
played that rigid nobility and that family centered loyalty, I would like to say that my character now, Alexander, is absolutely not Miguel.
Oh yeah,
He's someone
Oh,
else
very different
entirely.
I think one of the things that I liked most about how you played it was even when there was like a Cairn raid or even something minor, one of your character's things was tanking.
Yeah,
And you tanked everything, knowing full and join proxies you do full well you're going to die in.
You were in Alaska.
Because even though you were doing this long, intricate 3-year arc, part of Werewolf is that your story might end severely truncated, and that's sort of your sad ending.
And that's okay.
And that's fine.
You have to roll the dice, because at a certain point, if you don't roll the dice in your character, you'll never get to accomplish your goals. Littlefinger, Game of Thrones. Some men protect their lives. They risk so little and they gain nothing. In the end, they still die. I'd risk everything to get what I want. Everything.
Well, and
Almost
it's
everything,
also
apparently.
about being true to
Not
the
my
character,
honor.
especially when you're being a werewolf. And when you're playing in this rigid, caste-based society, and it is. If to really understand werewolf, you really need to think about it as a rigid, caste-based society where your purpose in life was determined by fiat because you were
Wait,
born
you played
under a moon sign.
Executioner's Resolve? Were you at the High Crown, the Silver Crown proxy? Because that was hilarious. Actually,
I was wrong. Somebody out there really cared.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
the reason why that proxy. Oh, I'm sorry. The reason why that proxy was so brutal. That reason why that challenge was so brutal is because I wanted, even if you win, I wish you were lieutenant.
Okay.
No matter who won, I wanted everybody to lose, because if everybody loses, then I win.
Well, you took their children. You took their
You
fetishes.
took their fetishes. You took all the fun stuff off of their.
You took
kids.
their favorite foods. They weren't allowed to eat them anymore. You took their appreciation for the color green. Like, you took a lot.
All right. Well, I'm glad the story got out, but the motivation for it was. Bad line of Silverfangs has 100
We are
million
breaking all
relatives.
of our rules tonight. We're not, like, just because we don't give a shit.
I would actually like to give a shout out to Scott, because at the end he knew about it, and instead of being like, so I could understand somebody being a bit salty, he was like, "Good job, nice shit."
Yeah.
That is something. If you find out that someone you didn't know about was plotting your death for 3 years, some inconsequential worm that you at times had helped reach a position of power, and he turns around and he essentially does all he can to destroy you, you can go two ways. You can be a salty punk about it, or you can go, "Didn't see that coming. 5 it."
I'm still
Oh, I
giving.
didn't know that. That's cool.
Scott
After-
was pretty decent
That is
about
very
it. I'll
cool.
give him
I didn't know
that.
After all these years of Brian betraying me, I'm still giving him a ride home.
So I'd like to see Scott back, whoever is local to him. Tell him I said, legit. Fair play and all that jazz.
It's good.
How many folks do we still have out there?
How many people are
Tuning in?
still watching
Like
this?
3.
Let's see. There are 9 of you.
Oh,
God.
wow. That's
Don't you have homes?
300.
Are we just going to stay on until no one's left watching?
I dare you. I have nothing to do for the next 2 days.
This is one of the few times where we don't have to end the episode early. You can both actually drink. I'm entertained. The whole point of this
Actually,
is to actually just talk with the audience and have like a cool discussion about whatever the fuck we want to in a very unstructured way, which on some levels,
It's
sure,
dangerous.
it's not as edifying as going over what is the best fourth and fifth level gift.
Well, you've got three board gamers sitting here. Ask us some questions, you guys. What do you got? What's
Anything.
up?
You can ask
we
me
will
lo-
field
you can
any
ask me-
question
You can
at
ask
this
us
point.
last cron. You can
They're
ask
drunk,
us
I'm
current cron.
punchy.
You'll pass out before I will. I once went 72 hours without sleep on guard duty, and the last
It
thing
was
I
a-
really remember was that the palm trees were dinosaurs and they wanted to eat me, and I was just glad for the end. I'll take you up.
Yeah, he was a ground pounder in the sandbox.
No. I was a nobody pogue. Let's get that straight. I was a nobody pogue.
I was
and
just characterizing the entire army as
No.
ground pounders.
I was a nobody pogue in the middle of nowhere.
What do you think of that PC in Last Chronicle when it showed up with that weird ass wolf?
Favorite Farah? A Jabba. It's not even close.
Corax.
They have the best mechanics. A Jabba have the best players. And I will take that to the bank. I'll go to the mattresses with that. I love my Jabba players.
Two things. One, it's Brian with an I, and two, I don't recall offhand. Give me some more deets on that. I will remember it.
It's
when you
very
give me more.
important that it's Brian with an I.
I don't trust Brian's with a Y.
Well,
Isn't that gang? No, he's I.
no,
He's an I. He's
Who's
a real
Brian with a
Brian.
Y that you know?
You don't.
Exactly.
because they're probably Ulsters.
Steel Trap, worth the hype or no?
Which one's Steel Trap? Steel Fur? Or what are we talking about?
Steel Fur. Well, Steel Fur we could go
Steel
on
Trap
about.
is a bite gift, I think.
Which, what does it do?
Oh, the Feathered Wolf with Storm. Yeah, I know. I remember you. You were weird, dude. That was a fucking
The
weird ass
The
PC.
level 5 Rokea gift, Steel Trap, the
Yeah.
bite.
I'd have to look at it. But a lot of the tribal,
A lot of the
ferrets-
fives are garbage.
Oh, no. The generalist fives are a really mixed bag because for some reason fours of the general gifts
Are the best.
are just
Better.
so good in so many just amazing ways. And the fives are just sort of like some are really good, some are just sort of like one note. It's hard to get really excited about. Artful
Bite
Dodger.
deals damage and you get a free grapple off the bite. That's the one.
Sure, yeah, it's
I
good
think it's
power.
good.
I mean, biting is something Rokea
And
do.
grappling, I mean, people are unimpressed with grapple because it's not as good as it used to be because there are defining specific rules for it now. But grappling somebody takes them essentially out of the fight if the fight is moving.
Well,
that is boss.
It's very good for it's
If
good
you grapple
crowd
somebody,
control.
when you grapple somebody, can
Yeah.
you move backwards?
You can move with them.
Can you
There's
drag
no-
them away from the fight?
Yeah.
How does that motion work? Is it a contested chop?
No,
No,
it's
so
one
you
step. You move them one step.
But if you're in Krynos 2, I think.
That's all like
What
that.
if you have
big.
conveying as a fetch as a talent
Then
quality?
there you
maybe
go.
more.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay,
as
so you're
we'll see in
literally
Resurgence.
physically dragging them out of the
Yeah.
fight or downward into the water.
Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah.
down into the water, yeah.
I mean, it'll still take a month of Sundays for any PC to actually drown because of
Yeah,
how long you
but
can
they're,
hold your
but
breath.
they're
but still.
absolutely out of the fight.
Right, especially if they don't have the athletics to, swim other than doggy paddle.
The counterpoint to this is if you're somebody rocking level 5 gifts, throwing them around in combat, you're probably not interdicting, because when you interdict somebody and take them out of the fight,
You should be
you want to
low
be
level.
you should be interdicting someone higher level than you to increase the net benefit to your guys. So
Well,
if you're
just
Billy,
because you have a level 5 gift doesn't mean that you're an elder. You can
No.
get those in. You can get those in Foster.
No.
or
Cleof. Here's what he's saying. If you're spec'd to do damage and beat ass, then beat ass. If you're not spec'd to do damage and beat ass, the best thing you can do with the group is take up someone else's time. And that's something that you learn in Buffaloes. It's like, I'm not that great a fighter, but if I position myself correctly, these 3 dudes have to pay attention to me.
yeah,
3 dudes paying attention to a not great fighter means that my team has a 3-to-1 advantage.
yep, that's
up
the
on
chess
them.
that's chess
So
match.
come on over here. Pay attention to me. If you
I
don't
mean,
pay attention to me,
it sounds like it has a carrier attack. Any gift with a carrier attack is generally good. You get some sort of bonus maneuver out of it without spending willpower, and it just happens.
Yeah.
Cool. Especially if you have the Rokea who dips into Wendigo gifts. Oh my god.
Oh.
You know what biting does? It makes me angrier. It also gives me willpower. Also, I can just burn that willpower and get it back immediately. Oh, I'm gonna bite you so much.
I don't think
Also,
people-
my biting is hugs. My biting is hugs.
I say this whenever I can, whenever it comes up, guys,
Fucking Wendigo. are so
fucking
good.
Wendigo, holy shit! I'm not gonna say
It's the
Wendigo or
same as
mechanic.
last Chronicle, and people are like, Wendigo gets the garbage. I'm like,
What the fuck
did
is
you-
wrong
Did
with
you
you?
not read their book?
Holy shit! Read Wendigo gifts, and then, but not just that. Read what the implications of Wendigo
Or a
gifts.
Wendigo dipping Rokea, because they
Yeah.
can get their bite at 1.
Guns and new system, yay or nay? Yay,
Yeah,
yay,
no, it's
yay,
much better.
full yay. Full
Also, the way that they've combat needs to be attenuated because it's a game and it can't be ultra realistic because that's not the type of game that MES is going for.
If you want ultra realistic, I can name several board games or bottle leverage for you.
Or role playing games. The tabletop game, like you can't.
It's an abstracted system.
It's called Shadowrun.
Yeah,
Have fun.
you can't get better at combat pretty much in a role playing game than Shadowrun did. Where if you have a shotgun and you shoot somebody, they're probably just dead. However, so the trade-off is my sniping rifle with range and silver can be like this amazing tool to use in werewolf combat because it couples with a bunch of other powers and I can do all sorts of fun stuff. And meanwhile, you can't. Well, I guess a stock 3, the high school student, you can't actually kill them with it. Like,
Yeah.
but that's the trade-off for it. You can make them run if they're stock 2 or 1. Like. So that's fine. So there's a trade-off. I will say that I like the guns better now because guns in the old system were like, if you weren't playing with one of 2 guns, you just weren't doing it right. There was no purpose to not having your full auto assault shotguns doing
Always full auto shotgun.
Yeah, like
Dark Epics just nailed that down. You're having a full auto assault shotgun. That is the gun to have.
Yeah, and it pretty much was like, well, there's a whole bunch of gun options.
I love
but
Shadowrun. This dude's in the plus column.
Yeah.
Yes. If you want to win points with me, you can lose them if you say your favorite edition is any number higher than 3rd. But
The other thing I'll say about guns is guns, just like in real life, guns are a great equalizer to skill. Irrelevant of how many XP somebody has, if you have the right build and trick shots, you are a problem for them.
oh yeah,
It doesn't matter how good they are. With
God made men. Samuel Colt made them equal.
Yes.
I will say
That is the great thing about guns, though.
I look
yeah.
forward in Sabat taking some of the combat tricks I've learned.
I
in
preferred
Werewolf
second.
and-
That's the one I learned first.
no, 2nd is great. 3rd is just 2nd with all the splat books worked in. But 4th and up is like they totally tried to redo this. The Germans got it.
We don't need them.
and it got weird.
But guns in an MAS Apocalypse system,
I'm breaking this chair today.
You should.
These
not.
are facts.
You shouldn't do that.
Yeah, but guns are great not because they're broken. Well, they're very good. The ability to deal no chop damage means you will always be relevant, and stock NPCs can always be terrifying, no matter who you
Can
are.
I say one thing?
35
Because
stock NPCs with shit in
This
their
is
mouth.
probably going to happen with Changeling whenever it comes out in another year or 2. Probably 2 or more. Who knows? Anyway, my point is this. Werewolf fixed a lot of the problems and imbalances of Vampire because they took a similar system and then
They learned lessons. They clearly learned lessons
and they
from
cleaned
Vampire.
it up and added rules.
Yeah.
One of the things I would like to see moving forward is somebody taking those and then like reverse patching it. And I think one of the best examples is like extra influence actions you get from sciences, right? Like they saw people just had like a sheet full of sciences at once.
And they tone that shit down.
And they were like, you get one for your first science, and then every additional science you have at 3. And clearly it was a game balance thing. And that, I don't know if that's if they've included it in the Vampire errata. I don't know how much of the errata and rules have actually been released by BNS, but they should. They should take all of the good rules change, or the entire influence like initiative system from Werewolf should be backmasked to Vampire. And every system prospectively. So when the Changeling book inevitably makes improvements on the core BNS system, I'm talking like core systems, dramatic systems, stuff like that, they should all
backlog it. So
right, they should all, and so all of the games improve, right? Because there's still a lot of like real loosey goosey stuff.
Because you don't want Vampire to have like a weird sucky rule, like, oh great, Changeling fixed this, but we can't use it. It's like, nope.
Well, Werewolf fixed a lot of the things in Vampire.
They should
and you can't
cascade
use
down
it.
the line.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, that's a great.
Well, one of the more subtle things that Werewolf fixed is system-wise, is they incentivize that if you're a power gamer, you want to roll Fostern. And why that is good is it creates a situation where you want the plurality of players to be Fostern and Adrian. So they've incentivized mechanically the end state you want in the world. Whereas in Vampire,
Everybody's an elder.
I mean, if you just look at Last Chronicle, and this is the reason I'm aggressively rolling a 15.
It almost happened in the discussion of it was that the people running Vampire would have killed for a game that was 80% neonate because that's the genre.
That's the fucking game. The game
setting.
should be 80% fucking neonate.
But they keep softening that stance and rolling it back to having like it's still this one is
Because
going to be
you
run
know
by
what?
PC elders again.
Do you know why you need 80% neonate?
I kind of like the lineage
No,
progress stuff.
no.
I don't. I think that
Do you know why you need 80% neonate?
Why?
This is my opinion as to why you need 80% neonate. For the same reason that a lot of us feel frustration with boomers. Why won't they fucking retire? Because Because let me finish
Okay.
my feel here. If there's if there's a third of the game that's PC Elder, then you see the PC Elders in charge, and you're like, fine, that's fine. You know what I mean, that's what they're doing. That's why they spent the points, and then that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But if 80% of the game is locked out of power positions, that is when you get the chafing.
That's also when you get the
anger.
jihad. That's the whole point of it.
Yes.
You have to keep everybody busy doing things.
The
Otherwise, you're going to lose your seat.
The elders will have no choice but to band together, even if they hate each other, and push the neonates down. And the smart neonates are going to look around and be like, if we all just jump them.
Well, the other problem is the lineage is cut directly against that.
Exactly.
And it's very
Well,
opaque.
I am concerned.
Well, I'm making a vampire character. I'm very concerned because it's extremely opaque to somebody. Like, if I just want to roll Giovanni and I don't... And this isn't to throw any shade. Like, I'm in the Giovanni group. I see the lineages happening. I'm in other, clan groups. I see them happening. It's not to throw shade at that. It's a cool idea for a sub-game, but it's very opaque, and I feel it's going to leave a lot of players out.
Well, a lot of stuff
touch
is
any of
there.
that.
I mean, the material is there if players want to see it. I am concerned. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it until I see it in action. Like, there's a lot of things that could go wrong with
I
the
have a
project.
lot of trepidation, is what I'm saying.
That's a good word. I mean, it could work great. We're not going to know until we see it in action.
Yeah. What do we got?
All right.
You better go to my Q&A then, sir, so scroll it back.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm honestly, legitimately a little bit afraid of Amanda, so let's just answer her fucking question.
What did Amanda ask?
I don't know, but fucking find it.
All right, guns. Oh, we're getting there.
It's good. That's good.
Do you guys know why the VIP system for Masquerade is so expensive? Check their podcast.
Yeah.
That
That is the sickest burn.
I'm gonna go get some salad.
is not a burn. What? No,
Oh,
that was not a burn.
I don't know if the vampire staff has enough aloe vera to deal
That
with
was
that
not a
level of
burn. That was not a burn. You should be asking them.
You're deep in your cups, but oh my god, I am.
That was
proud
not
of
a
you.
burn.
Oh,
That was not a burn.
I'm giving you a medal for that.
What? That's not a burn. That's not a burn, brah.
I've got some antibiotic ointment for that.
Oh,
Unintentional burn
I'm
is
trying to find
is
some
third.
I did
degree.
not intend it as a burn. Okay.
I got a med kit here for burns.
All right, you come back. I'm tagging.
Oh, everybody's leaving.
No. I gotta pee real quick. Iggy, tag in.
Yeah. Okay. Amanda, please. I don't know what it is you're saying, so please reply. Let me know what's up. I don't know what your question is. Same thing with Alexia. I don't know what your question is. Repeat your question.
I think the vid cut out. Hell, if I know how to get in touch.
Vid
with
is definitely still streaming on my end.
No, she's the A&M for Geos.
Yeah. The vid died. Mine froze on them laughing. Hit refresh. Looks good here.
I'm looking at a Lord of the Rings base dance off right now.
Nice.
Just want you to know.
That's good. Marathon podcast. But yes, Amanda and Alexia, please repost your comments and questions. Apparently, we just missed them because we're drunk. And Bucky's in the bathroom. We can't count on the sober guy. The sober guy's let us down.
I like how he breaks the seal first when he's been.
Amanda, how do I do that? Just ask again. Just type the question
The
again.
keyboard's in front of you.
Yeah. Alexia, allow Ken to contribute dots to territories to be okay with shared personal territories. Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure if we want to change that or not,
What are we saying?
but it's a good question. Allow Kin to contribute to territory dots.
Well, they're shared backgrounds.
I mean,
But he can take territory.
No, but the question is because they're not in a pack is the point.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a mechanical issue.
The problem is I don't know a way to do it mechanically that doesn't open the door wide open for abuse. I mean, I know.
Well, the kinfolk would have to be PCs.
Yeah, yes, obviously the kinfolk would have to be PCs. It's an interesting question. I don't have a good answer for that one. I'm unsure.
I gotta shave.
Yeah, why can't they have territory? They can have territory. It's a question of shared territory. You share territory with your pack.
Right, so they can have the background, but they
Yeah.
can't contribute it to their pack because they're not in the
Yeah.
pack.
As for Amanda, she was inviting Bucky as a Geo player to the office hours she is having.
Oh yeah, no, like I've been following that. if I make a Giovanni, I'm probably going to go into the Independent Alliance online game because we don't have a local IA game. We don't even have a local Camnarch game.
We're only running Sabat.
We're only running Sabat right now, which is fine because a lot of people are really psyched about sort of the change of pace. The thing is that even conceptually, I wanted to make a character that was like not double-blooded, doesn't have the last name Giovanni, but there's a lot of things, and I've been from numerous clans. I've been invited to lineages. Now, some of them I can't join because they're Camnarch lineages, and we don't have a game. So I can try to make an online guy and like house him there. But the other thing is that my chief concern, if you've listened to any of these podcasts, is maximizing player fun and potential for fun as much as possible, keeping plot as player driven as possible and all that. So while I do see the definitely cool possible benefits of these really nuanced lineages, and some of the call outs are great. It's like, anybody want to make a 10th gen from the 1800s who was in Australia? You hit me up on PMs, like, and it's like, whoa, they have a specific niche they want to fill, like, and that's cool.
Wait,
about unintended
a 10th gen from
consequences.
Australia? Do I get to roll quickly from Quigley Down Under finally?
Sure. I mean, that
Tom
was,
Selleck is my hero. You've seen the movie.
And yet, where'd your mustache go?
It's hidden in his glorious
By
beard.
the way, you both still have mustaches hiding in there.
In this glorious beard.
Just
This
like
salt-
long
this-
ago, you had a Mohican brush
Listen,
hiding in there.
Listen, the salt and pepper sex pot known as my beard. Yeah, you can.
That's why I have to shave. You can't really tell from here, but the reason why it looks kind of patchy is parts of it are just going gray at random, and it's not a good look. But it just looks like a shadow.
It
on
actually
my extra
actually
chin.
looks great at mine. The silver.
Oh, it does.
both
He's
ends.
getting it in like
Yeah,
here,
I kind of look like
and,
a
like,
fat.
here.
I look like a fat Ra's al Ghul. It's pretty funny.
I look like somebody walked up to me with bleach and went like, "Nyeh," and like there's just reverse mange polka dots all over me. It's not good.
Like I'm harassing Batman and dealing with my diabetes.
But my face is so big, it's just casting a shadow because we're lit from above, so you can't see any of it anyway. What do we got? I still can't read.
All right, here we go. We have an IAVSS here in Lincoln. Amanda says, when you make a Giovanni. Ravnos says, I want to play a Gangrel, but I can only see it as Independent or Sabat. Ravnos is not a fan of the cam. Amanda's excited about people here talking about Geo. Alexia doesn't like Vampire, but Sabat has her full interest. Boston only has Camnarch.
I love the Giovanni. I love what the Giovanni could be. I actually hate them on 1,000,001 different levels because, okay, so
Oh shit, here we go. Is this
Oh,
happening?
not the Italian thing.
Oh,
well, this is the Italian thing.
we're down.
No,
the
it's
people
happening
who
out. Where? How do we stop the podcast?
The people who wrote Giovanni didn't know
Please
anything
don't.
about Italian.
Please-
it's just a
please
collection
don't.
of Italian
Oh, hang on.
stereotypes.
You have 3 minutes. Go.
Please
okay.
don't.
He has 3 minutes. Give him time.
So during my honeymoon, me and my wife, who was from Alto Adige, also got to go to.
That's not a place. That's a cheese.
We also got to go to Venice for a cousin's wedding. The utterly, like, completely culturally and historically oblivious way that they've addressed Northern Italian or Venetian culture is just beyond the pale. And the idea that these immortal beings, right, who started
tell you
as
about two,
Venetian
but-
necromancers, sure, I mean, I'll take that as a conceit because it's supernatural. I'll even take their hatred of Cappadocian, even though it's completely unintentional, because the Republic fell to the Turks in the 1800s. They made it a collection of super Southern stereotypes which don't make sense, and and they also crowded Italy with too much vampire stuff. There's so much vampire stuff going on there, it doesn't make a goddamn whit of sense. It's infinitely frustrating as somebody who's married into that culture, and when I went there, I learned more Nonus than I learned Italian because they still basically speak Latin up there. Like, it's like Montreal by night versus Montreal. It's like laughable. You could tell they never went to the city. They didn't even visit it. They just looked it up online, where somebody told them that a couple of things about Montreal, and then they wrote this thing that like couldn't be further from the truth. So I have that problem, but I think a lot of it can be repaired through good role playing and trying to play up the things that are more accurate and more they're better to the actual source material and more respective of the culture than the book of the game ever was, which I think is also true of various tribes as it is of various clans. And you can do better than just the material and the backstory that's been given to you by White Wolf, because it is super flawed. And for a while, their response to there being a collection of racist stereotypes was then to add more races to be racist stereotypes. Like, they have the Rothschilds, like, you got your Jew Giovanni, you know, all these shyster Jew criminals, like, and then you got these shyster Scottish criminals. And I was like, not really helping the underlying problem of the entire clan. So that's my 3-minute rant on the Giovanni.
Amanda says that's fair. I felt that way all this shit about Thailand and NWAD. Anyways, I'm trying to fix it, basically.
Yeah, I'm with. Hey, if you want a partner for that, I would love to help. I'm there with you.
I will say I'm scared shitless that a lot of these things we've spent the last few years, and I think BNS has spent the last few years trying to fix about the World of Darkness. I'm terrified that our Swedish overlords are going to walk it all back.
Well,
I'm fucking terrified.
I will say that let's talk for a moment about the 5th ed pre-alpha from Onyx Path Publishing.
No, that's from White Wolf. That's straight from White Wolf.
That's straight from White Wolf?
That is from our Swedish overlords.
So, the Swedes, and mind you, these are the same people who basically said...
Don't mention their diversity.
At NOLA, they were
done
like...
that joke.
It was a panel of Swedes with, I think, Gadane talking about how diverse they were because they brought their own woman to talk over to the panel.
You done the joke?
I'm doing the joke again, Iggy, god damn it, because that's basically what happened. You could go to YouTube and you could watch it. A lot of it is, like, super painful. They still want to be 90s edgelords in a lot of ways. And it's not okay. It just isn't. And the thing is that they're painting any opposition to it as, like, well, they're special... Concern trolling, special snowflake needing, safe space wanting SJW stuff. And there's a certain point where it's like, I don't understand why they think their game is so unbelievably popular that they still have to kickstart all their goddamn properties just to get them in fucking print. That they think they have this infinite market where they can just start alienating people by just doing shitty, inappropriate, dumb things. And like... I think one of them even posted on the forums, like, well, we didn't really see it as sort of a pedophile problem when we wrote the packet. And it was like, you didn't see... Well, that's part of the problem, is they could probably use a lot of other viewpoints other than, you know, our Swedish edgelords.
To remind them that maybe...
That maybe making a character who's only feeds on... Like, their concept was it should be something totally socially unacceptable and scarce, right? That could be 1,000,001 things that aren't getting... various levels of gratification from eating children, and it just went over their heads. It was like, whatever, you know, this is an adult game, it's adult themes. Oh, like, come on, guys, like, it's just very disrespectful for the people who want to go to a LARP and have fun in game, and they don't necessarily want their own personal histories of abuse or those that they know, or even people they're just compassionate towards, to get shit on for no reason. Racism, sexism, sexual assault, those are all really deep real-world problems. And you know what? They still don't feature large in most role-playing games because you're not playing a role-playing game to address these. We've got enough of that in the real world.
Well, I have an entirely different perspective on that.
I find it very frustrating. It's very disrespectful to players.
Let me jump in.
Please.
I think that's not being addressed because, by and large, role-playing games are written by white dudes for white dudes. So it's something that they don't feel comfortable talking about. It's something that they largely want to ignore. And the times they bring it up, it's only because different races have different powers.
Oh yeah, that's been a concept.
So we're going to take that and throw that to the side.
Well, they won't even talk about how problematic their old materials were, even though they wrote, like, Gypsy the Racism.
Moreover, we're going to go back. The whole thing about preying on vulnerable things to get, like, that spike, like that feeding on children. It's an adult game. It's an adult game with adult themes. I'm like, yeah, it's an adult game with adult themes, and you're being fucking lazy. That's lazy. It's laziness.
Well, it's barely above jump scares. You can do better than that.
You can be better than this. The character is an alcoholic to make them insta-deep. Like, it's that level.
Yeah, it's easy.
It's
lazy.
Really
easy.
It's so
really
lazy.
Easy.
It's incredibly lazy. You want me to... If this game's adult, It should be adult because it makes
What
me
would make
think.
this character darker? They eat babies.
Again, Snidely Whiplash over there.
Okay.
If this is an adult,
Cool.
if
That
this,
definitely makes them way more interesting.
because that's not adult. Because children understand that eating babies is bad, so that's clearly not an adult.
That's why I use the
If
term
you want-
puerile. This
if-
is what like teenagers think is edgy.
If you want adult,
And it's sad
give me
coming-
something that makes me think as an adult. Stuff that as a 16-year-old I wouldn't have understood, and as a 36-year-old father with a job who's been around the world, this is still something that I struggle with. I don't struggle with is baby eating bad. That's not a struggle
That
for
is
me.
not
There's no
an
role
issue.
playing there for me. That is
presumed.
easy.
You don't
It
wake
is-
up in the morning and say to yourself, "Am I pro baby eating or am I against?"
I look
baby
at
What
I
would
look
you
I
say
get
on
I
the
get up
subject?
I get up in the morning. I look at my baby powder and I'm like, is this actual baby?
Is this the
no,
day? Yeah.
No. So if you want to make it an adult theme with adult game with adult themes, then you have to make it adult. And adult in my world means hard and complicated.
For me, Werewolf is based on impossible moral dilemmas. There are a series of impossible choices built into Werewolf the Apocalypse, and those are the things I want to explore. I don't want to explore, does my werewolf want to eat babies?
well, that's what I mean.
I mean,
That's honestly
Because
what-
that
hang
answer,
on.
no, because that answer is easy and lazy. It's either yes,
Or no.
I'm gonna give
Yeah.
two
No one
examples
struggles
of
with
movies.
No one says depends.
I'm gonna do two examples of movies that couldn't be further apart in quality, but they both
I
deal
missed
with.
I missed the pepperoni. I am legitimately drunk right now.
Okay, so they both deal with essentially one of the things that is really about horror and what makes. And there's a lot of subgenres of horror, but horror as opposed to just scary, right? So being eaten by sharks, super scary. Being eaten by your own children, horror, right? Like there's different things. It's not just being eaten. It can be horrible. It could just be scary. So the movie Clown and the movie The Mist.
Even scarier than being eaten by babies is terror that you might be eaten by
or your
baby.
own children, and
Right,
powerless
your own
to stop.
children may rise up. The dread, the purest form of horror, will always be dread.
Yeah.
Dread is the strongest and
So-
most powerful form of horror.
So in the movie Clown, which is
Jesus, okay.
it's adequate. I feel like somebody bet Eli Roth, I bet you can't make a scary movie about clowns, and he was like, dude, hold my beer. And he made a very workman-like movie about a demon clown. And it was okay. But one of the best moments in the film is at some point in Act 3, it's the mother is basically given a classic Hobson's choice, right? The demon's basically like, you can give me one more child and I'll eat it, or I could eat your kid. It's not quite a Sophie's choice because it's not making them pick which one of their kids they eat.
The
It's
answer-
either a stranger's kid or it's your kid. And
The answer is you kill the fucking clown.
right. So she almost
That's an adult.
She almost does it, and there's this moment where they explore that, and then spoilers for a movie that came out like 3 fucking years ago about a clown. But she realizes, oh my god, this would be a terrible moral mistake, and eventually just lets the girl back in the car instead of letting her be eaten by the clown. Move to The Mist, where the overarching, and again, even older movie, spoiler alert.
The
real
failure in the
horror-
mist is despair.
right, is eventually the character
No.
made the call,
It's not just a spirit. It's
whether
cowardice.
or not, right.
Well, despair is a kind of cowardice.
Right. It's despair is the greatest heresy because it's the true belief that no matter what you do or anybody else does, the situation can't be improved. And the real horrible moment of The Mist is more horrible than the monsters and people.
Well,
being
because the
melted
audience
by
is with
acid.
you at that moment. That's the great thing about the mist, is it brings the audience along to that moment.
Right. Is at the end of the car ride when the car runs out of gas and they're given their decision of between hopelessness and despair and literally anything else, any grace and anything, basically the characters as well as the car have run out of fuel, and then he makes a terrible choice and is immediately told that was a terrible choice.
If you had just waited. But the thing is, if you look back, his first choice was selfish. His first mistake was selfishness. Because if he had been brave and he had walked that lady back,
Yep, he would. Then they show him that too.
yes,
Yes,
they
his
grind in
initial-
his your desperate
the
desire
initial
to save
moral
your
failing
child.
of everybody in the store damns them.
Yes,
The
Which
mist,
is why even
cowardice.
Stephen King said the movie was better than
the
the
mist
book.
is a perfect horror movie.
yes.
It-
It has
I-
your box. It has your bad guys. It has your humans are the real monster. It
No,
has
they're making it
your
into a
attempt
series,
to
I know.
your attempt to escape, and
Might
then
be
it,
okay.
at the very end, it has despair is your greatest failing.
What I like about
it.
it does have an element of humans are the real monster, but it doesn't let that carry away the whole movie.
Well,
Because it doesn't overwhelm
the reason-
everything else.
The reason I bring that up is if you
Expiation.
want horror in vampire, you need to start focusing on impossible moral choices,
Yeah.
or Hobson's choices, or Sophie's choices, because that is where somebody should lose their humanity. That is where people struggle with their decision
I'm
making.
gonna go to Dark Puppy.
Vampire : the sheet maintenancing isn't actually affected by those choices if they're very superficial.
Dark Puppy mentioned something when the Punisher kills his kid. Dolph Lundgren's the Punisher. When he looks at the mob boss's kid, and he looks at him, and he said, and that moment, because it's Dolph Lundgren's actually shocking.
Wait, are we talking about Dolph Lundgren or
He's
Thomas
talking about-
Jane
he's talking about
killing the
Thomas
mobster?
Jane.
I'm talking about Dolph Lundgren.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
When Dolph Lundgren looks at the mob boss's kid that he dropped everything to go rescue and sided with the mob boss to rescue and nearly dies, he looks at, after he kills the mob boss, he looks at the kid and he says, "Be a good man." And there's hope in his face. He really means be a good man. And he looks at the kid and says, "Because if you don't, I will be waiting." In his mind, he's already murdered a child and he's disgusted with himself. Because he makes those choices. That is drama, that is horror, that is making choices, that is being a character, not a caricature. He looks at a child and he says, and that is something you can do with a child. It's like, listen, I want the best for you, but if you fail, I will be waiting.
Right, and just that's not benefited by I feed on children. The other thing is that I've said it that good mechanics can make a game better, but bad mechanics really hurt a game. And right now, the unresolved issue for me is still the incredibly weak sauce humanity system, where you can basically somebody did the math over the course of a century. You have killed thousands of people and still be rocking Humanity 5. That's as long as you space them out.
I think morality was the. I mean, I like BNS Vampire quite a bit, but I do think they dropped that. They missed. They whiffed.
It's a complete whiff.
Yeah, they whiffed on humanity.
I mean, it's
That
one of the
could
core
use-
concepts of Vampire, your degradation and you're becoming closer and
slow
closer to
slides
what's
of the monster.
If they put a splat book out that just revised the humanity system and gave it teeth,
That's when
That would be
when I
awesome.
first started playing Vampire. I thought that was the thing that was supposed to scare me about other vampires. By the way,
their inhumanity.
no, the fact that they are the kind of people with the iron will required to survive centuries-long slides into inhumanity.
Yeah.
Because there are lots of vampires who are my age. There's lots of vampires that are 50 years old. There's less vampires that are 100 years old. There's less vampires that are 200 years old, 300, 400. These are the guys that are 1,000 years old. Literally nothing can crack them. That is horrifying. Because these people cannot bend. And they will not break.
Right.
And that should terrify you.
Yeah,
I thought that was
absolutely.
the point of, like, when you talk to an older, it's like, nothing has killed him and everything is tried.
Well, the other thing is that I prefer to be the monster in a vampire. Well, the monster I be less the monster I become. I mean, Mark Hagan wrote that in '91. I mean, that's the origin of the game. Is that phrase? Like,
No, I thought it was a pathos. Like, I felt bad for them and I was
Yeah.
horrified, but because they're
Yeah.
like, because you're supposed to look at an elder and be like, if everything goes perfect and I live,
That's what
my
I'm gonna reward, yeah.
I should off myself tonight. Well, I still can.
well, that is my problem with NWAD games. That is a strong problem I have with almost all NWAD lines.
Oh, is there
Almost
degradation
all-
system?
Almost all NWAD characters should, if they're looking at this. Well, do we really want to get into this?
No, I mean, it's not really necessary, but it's basically don't steal stuff, then a whole middle bar of things that only matter in your genre, and then also don't be a mass murderer. That is the only moral guidance you're given. And then it's also a little bit insulting because it's like the more inhumane you are, the more mental problems you have, which is there's other ways of representing your inhumanity. Is just making your sheet worse because you're a terrible, monstrous thing that people can more easily detect. It doesn't just have to be, the people with butterfly nets are suddenly having to catch you.
I mean, the conscience use system wasn't perfect and revised, but it was good.
But at least it was something that if you wanted to break, you had to spend a shit ton of XP on.
Yeah.
Like, you had to buy up your consciousness and buy merits to be better at it and buy unflappable and have self-control and like there was a whole sub-game there. What we have now is something that only play-to-lose characters will pretty much volunteer humanity loss.
Hey, Ben.
Because if you don't want to take humanity loss, you probably aren't going to do it. You've got somebody nearby with Animal Can
Animal
to talk you
Can.
down.
The fact that Animal Can, oh my god, I've seen so many characters.
Why are there gang
Animal
lose
Can, Animal Can.
humanity?
I feel really bad about killing all those random people. Can you talk about it with me for a minute? I feel so much less bad about I could probably even kill a few more people tonight without taking any comeuppance.
Thank you for that.
It took an already weak system and made it even weaker. It's like... Plus, if you really enforce it as an ST, you put the ST in the uncomfortable position of, if you want to make this a thing, you're the ST who's a dick. Because no one else is doing it.
Well, that's the big thing is what you do want to see with 4th Ed is you want to see more of that sort of storytelling. I just...
Or fifth.
Fifth, whatever the 5th edition. I'm just concerned that they're not going to be able to deliver it because
Well,
what
they
I'm
want-
seeing so far is not inspiring any confidence.
I also see they wanna push different colored dice for feeding. So red dice are to get blood or something. And I was like, really? Are we going all the way back to the early '90s with like specialty dice kits?
I want my Anomone dice, so I,
I want my
can roll
plastic.
6-6,
I
yo.
want my plastic fangs.
First dead motherfucker!
That's how old we are.
Mm.
Do you still have yours? Do you have plastic fangs? Do you have the first dead plastic fangs?
No, I do not.
That's a shame.
I chewed.
Pretty sure if you have them, you would get some sort of horrible fungal infection from whatever's growing.
I wear
on
them
that
to every
plastic
game.
Yeah.
for the last.
I bring them to work.
I will
those
say, I will
27
say,
years.
Hirano is not a bad system in DNS APOC. I think Hirano makes sense. You just need a storyteller willing to smack players around with
You
it.
need a Hirano ST. I'm beginning to feel that.
Like a spirit ST.
Yeah, just a Hirano ST because there's enough going on in APOC that if you have 3 storytellers, there's not enough in the day for them to Hirano except for the play it or lose characters that are doing it to themselves.
Well, I mean,
Like, you need those moots.
We've
and you
talked-
need reasons to have those moots. And the easiest way to make sure those moots happen is to start passing out Hirano, especially to the points-minded characters. When they're like, I'm taking penalties, fuck that moot time.
you know what I'll say is that spirits matter infinitely less now than they used to, and I'm fine with it. That doesn't bother me. That's not a core. I mean, I'm okay with spirits being less important than they used to be. That doesn't.
I'm ecstatic about it because that's less ST shitting in my Cheerios.
I mean,
Yeah,
spirits,
for basically
yeah.
no reason.
Spirits are less powerful than they used to be, and I'm okay. That's one change I'm really okay with. And I would love storytellers spending more time with Hirano, especially because we see players like Ravenose here, who says he doesn't understand Hirano. I would love to talk more about Hirano. We could probably spend a whole episode talking about Hirano.
We did talk about it for a while. One of the
Only
distinctions
we
made.
can only talk about Hirano if I can drink.
What, you, of course, you're in
Yeah,
your home.
You're,
Of course
your
you
home.
do.
Of course you do.
I think one of the important distinctions to make initially about Hirano
That was the joke.
is Hirano isn't PTSD.
No,
No.
They keep being they're compared
It's
a lot.
depression.
It's more than
It's a
that.
soul-wrenching depression. It is not PTSD.
It's a-
The symptoms are completely dissimilar. PTSD comes with a hyper-awareness.
Yep.
and
Hypervigilance.
Hypervigilance.
That is...
I worked with a lot of kids that had PTSD, and what Hirano
In fact-
is not.
In
it.
fact, I would say that probably the biggest problem I had with a character in the last 3 or 4 Chronicles I played is a character who
people who
played,
make soldiers with PTSD
who
as like
played a
joke,
soldier with PTSD and then just played it as this weird
non-flashback type stuff.
fugue state. Like, I felt like he was mocking every person I know with post-traumatic stress disorder.
You probably just didn't know enough.
And then he should have researched it because it was insulting and enraging, and I made it my life to make his life miserable. I'm not proud of it, but it was something I did.
He had that coming. The thing is that it is very much a cultural despair. And this is going to sound weird, but as somebody who's Jewish, I understand cultural... I'm serious, I understand cultural despair. I come from a culture that's main defining features is everybody keeps trying to kill us. And one of our greatest accomplishments is not dying.
I thought it was good food.
Depends on who you ask. New York bagels over Montreal bagels. Anyway, so my point is... I'm sorry, I had to throw
Any
that
day.
in.
Any day. Bring them.
But there is... And this has existed with
As
the
a
culture
combat
since...
vet's wife, that shit makes me super pissy.
Yeah, since the first diaspora, having it is the cultural knowledge given to werewolves that they're fighting a long, losing fight, and ultimately all of the things that they've been programmed in their zealous caste-based system of pseudo-religious fanatics
Will fail them.
will fail them, and they're going to lose their friends, they're going to lose their loved ones, they're going to die, and they're probably going to lose anyway. And that is
And you will die, and if you're very lucky, you won't see your children die first.
right. That's if everything works out. You might get a glorious death, and it sort of ties into some sort of Norse like background stuff, and there's certain religions. And,
You want to
and
talk? You want to
cultures
talk about
that have that.
fatalism? There you go. There's your fatalism right there.
Well, the thing about APOC is that you know you're never going to win the war, failing some new catastrophe that you don't understand. But at the same time, what you can
I'm
do,
gonna win.
okay. But what you can do is just keep the fight going a little longer, and you can look at your kid and be like, if everything goes right, you will spend the rest of your life fighting in this war that you can't win to make sure your children have a shot.
I mean,
That's the thing. Is
the
like
ideal victory for werewolves is
so-
they actually win hard enough that they can do their job
So
of
wait,
just being
so-
the end of the spirits.
so-
the finally doing their spiritual journey
So what
of
you're saying
awakening
is the
things
war
and
in
tending the
Afghanistan,
world.
a war that lasts long enough that our children will be able to fight in it.
Yeah. Except it's a war of survival. It's not just throwing people into a meat grinder for no reason.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that because it's not on our land. The United States hasn't fought a war on its own soil since the Civil War.
What's a good example?
So it's kind of hard to understand the idea that
Starfish. That starfish analogy, where the guy's told he's throwing starfish into the ocean one by one, because the tides are seeded and he wants them to live. And somebody says, "You're not going to be able to make a difference. There are 100,000 starfish out here." Picks up another starfish, throws it back in the ocean, said, "Made a difference to that one." And he keeps it moving.
Right. I mean, and there's definitely philosophical. It is a philosophical problem, right? Hirano is falling into basically a nihilistic well, right? Where suddenly your existential
You know what?
nihilism.
I think I like Amanda a little better. As a combat vet's wife, that shit makes me super pissy. It does make me pissy. I completely agree. It's not a joke. It's not funny.
It's not just soldiers. The overwhelming majority of people with PTSD, having worked with troubled youth through OMD, or OMH, the Office of Mental Health in New York, it's a lot of abused people out there who have a lot of PTSD, and that is not what Hirano is. It is its own thing. It is a terrible thing. Not everybody has the same levels
And there's
of
not
mental
a one-to-one,
resiliency.
and there's not a one-to-one comparison. It's a thing that
And
we
it
have
is-
to
it is
roleplay. Now
rough.
you can look to other aspects of mental illness as a guideline to give you ideas how to roleplay, but it is not a one-to-one thing. And saying that it is,
Oh, we posted we're not therapists the last time we talked about
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And then one of us is a lawyer. That's where we went on the last
Yeah.
episode. We went on our
One thing is that
Hirano
most people can't really understand the thought process of religious fanaticism. What I would say is that Werewolf is different from religious fanaticism because, one, you
You're
wake
kind-
up in the morning and see spirits.
Right.
You know they're real. Two, you know that the worm is destroying the world. This is an objective fact. There is no room for negotiation on that.
it's kind of like being surrounded by. It's kind of like at one point in my life I was surrounded by a bunch of people who did not believe in global warming. It's like no, we're doing the world's done. They're like no, it's just the anthropo-driven global climate change is not a thing. Don't worry about it. It's fine. In 100 years, the world will just be exactly the same. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a player who really does understand, you can go real fucking base level with APOC. There's very surface levels of approaching it. For instance, you can say it's Autobots versus Decepticons. They've been fighting each other for 1 billion years across 1,000 worlds, and they just keep fucking doing it, and the Autobots will never defeat the Decepticons, but they keep fighting the Decepticons. If you need a really basic level, there are black hats and there are white hats, and the white hats are stuck fighting the black hats forever. It can get a lot deeper than that, but if you need to just explain
do you
it...
quit fighting just because you can't win?
Well, I mean, that's sort of
That's
the
your
point,
second
is that-
level.
is
That's
that-
your lower levels.
Is that you have? Yeah, if you want to go deeper, then you get into the one of the best part of like the Lord of the Rings movie where the Ents saying what from the books like, well, we're probably all going to die, like, but we have to go to war over this, otherwise nothing is. There's
Then
no
why
point.
are we even
If-
alive?
Right. If we don't fight for this, then we don't fight for anything. Then it's all
we're not even
meaningless.
alive.
So even though we might, and they say that, and even though they kick ass, like that's irrelevant. They say that we're marching to our doom.
Well, because Doom has multiple meanings.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people don't know. But I would say there's a lot of... we can get into the well of the deeper discussions of what the world of APOC is.
Why did we bring Talkin up in front of Brian?
Yeah.
What the shit?
But the point is that you can approach it at very base levels to make it approachable to new players. You don't have to get into this deep well to play Apocalypse, but that depth is there in the game, and I'm desperate to have it endure as part of the world because there is depth to it that is beyond Autobots versus Decepticons.
It's still difficult to make any individual ST make that uncomfortable choice of, do I be the dick ST who tries to enforce the subgame of mental degradation?
Be
of
the
severe-
dick you want to be.
Those are the heroes.
Be the dick
STs
you want
who
to
do
see in the
that
game.
and know they won't be popular, but know it's right for the
It's
game.
why
Not only
I
will
run
they not-
it's why I run kosher combats no matter who's in them, because at least
No matter.
it's done right.
Not only will they not be popular, they will be vastly unpopular.
They might even lose players in the short
They
term.
might lose friends in the long term.
That's hard. But sometimes you do have to walk that line. I've done things that aren't great for the game that maintain, because you have to make choices that maintain the game. But longer term, you definitely want to bend that arc towards getting the game where it needs to be. And at first, that might be playing a fun game where everyone's just kind of hanging out, doing Geru dates, and enjoying the social RP. But over time, you have to bend them towards that world, or the game loses meaning, in my opinion.
Yeah, you could just be playing literally anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want a game that doesn't deal with any of this, you can play a million other role-playing games.
And also, the other thing to keep in mind about Geru is I see a lot of references to religion. The problem is religions are predicated on faith. A Geru needs have no faith.
Oh, well, that's like when we're talking about 40K.
Yeah.
Faith isn't a thing. There is no question of faith. You're of the three great virtues, faith, love, and charity.
Yeah.
Like, faith ends with confirmation, love ends with consummation, but charity goes on forever. It's the greatest of the virtues. But the thing about faith is they are confirmed. Their totems are there. They can go to the heart.
There was a character.
Man, my totem can make me fly. I'm flying. Clearly, this totem fucking exists.
There was a character in a vampire game I played who went up to the prince and said, "Well, I don't believe in God. I'm not religious. I don't believe in any of that." And the prince looks at him, played by Mark Savell, one of his great lines. He just looks at him and goes, "I think it's a little late for that. Don't you think?"
Once the baleful eye of heaven strikes you dead during the day and burns you with the
you're literally magic.
You're
too
being
late.
burned by the sun and the judgment of whatever deity is out there.
There's clearly
Being
something going on here.
Being the
It's a little
atheist
late.
vampire, super difficult. Super duper
Little
difficult.
late. There are net churches out there. God help them, but
Sure. Whoa, we got a couple walls.
Whoa,
attacks
here we go.
coming up.
Without the dark, I disagree. The faith of a Geru is their bedrock. Gaia is their god, but they never encounter and can never know, but they die for and do it gladly. But the thing
It's
is,
really easy to believe in God when you see archangels and talk to them.
yeah. The other thing about APOC is by BNS, Gaia was out there. Gaia was talking to Gaia. Gaia's existence was confirmed until she went silent.
I'm 250 years old. I've seen her.
If
She
you
exists.
Well, not met her, but you could have met Ashtara, the incarna of Gaia.
Seen her.
She's right there. Ashtara can be approached with a complex quest in the ethereal realm. She's still there.
If you feel like your faith is lacking, use the quest system. I don't want to sound glib, but it's right. It would be like, I don't really believe in this sort of Western contrived religion. And then, like, Raphael shows up and is like, this is the horn I toot when the world's going to end, and also I'm an archangel, so STFU,
But
and then
literally,
just flies away.
That's exactly my point. It's hard to say that you don't believe in God when you meet literal archangels in your pack.
You're meeting the totems.
When the archangels are part of your pack who let you communicate telepathically.
Well, and you exist unquestionably in a spiritual world. Like, as humans, we're afflicted with endless doubt. We
don't know what happens when we die. How's step one on that? Geru know exactly what happens when they die.
They come back.
Right.
You can talk to Jimmy. Jimmy just died. We can call Jimmy up on the phone.
You can talk to your own ancestors.
They don't have to have...
Whoa. Fuck the Emperor.
Oh.
Why do you toy with me, Amanda? At first I admire you greatly, and then I realize I have to burn you at the stake for heresy.
Because with the
why don't you just be the sister of battle you were meant to be?
Well, sadly, I can't be an orc yet. But, I think that...
Orcs aren't love, they're a fungus, dear.
If there's room for faith... Let me say this. And again, I'm drunk. These are nothing in here is binding on genre or whatever the fuck. But if there's room for faith in Apocalypse, there is faith that Gaia will bail us out at the last minute if we keep fighting.
Or that you can
if we
even
keep
win. That's an article of faith. Is this worth the fight, and can we actually win? Is there a state we can just go back to being the spirit tenders we're intended to be?
Yeah, and maybe that's 1,000 generations from now. And I think that's beautiful. There's an Arthur C. Clarke story. Let me just do this one really quick. There's an Arthur C. Clarke story about this kid who grows up on the moon. And it's a very short story. It's like 1,000 words. And his dad takes him out and says, "You're a man now." And he takes him outside, and he shows him the earth in the sky. And it's a crescent earth in the sky, and it's glowing green because it's radioactive. And the father looks at the son and goes, "We can't go back yet, but we are going to fucking survive, and we are going to get home at some point. Maybe not in your lifetime, definitely not in mine, but maybe 1,000 years from now, we are going to go home. And that is your fucking duty. Welcome to adulthood." That sums up Apocalypse for me, is that we might not win now, but our job is to keep fighting the war because we have faith that at some point the war can be won.
I don't actually care if it can.
Well, no, but that's an article of faith.
That's an article. That's an article.
Also, is the fight worth fighting? Is an article of faith you can have.
No, but that's even another step beyond. I mean, at a certain point, like a lot of my characters that I've played in Werewolf have had this. I was created specifically to do a job.
This is again back to being in a caste system.
Like, I was created I am a hammer. Who am I to question my job crushing nails? I can have other hobbies. I was brought into existence given a bunch of magical superpowers ordained by a god to do a thing.
Well, here's the thing. You're brought into the world as part of some sort of celestial machinery to make the world work. But the job you've been brought in to do is broken. That's the thing. Is you're brought into a
Gears
world.
don't care if they grind. They
That-
just turn. That's their job.
But that is a
part of
conflict. That is a conflict.
That's definitely part of an internal conflict. There's almost infinite granularity with how you approach something as esoteric as your own Werewolf PC's Articles of Faith.
Right. There's no
and
right answers on this.
Right.
There are wrong answers.
I think in an overarching way, though, it's not a faith-based thing. Like, they are mostly confirmed in the fact that they exist in a spiritual world. They know what's going to happen when they die. They know that spirits are real. They know that they have a job to do. All that is known. It's completely inhuman. Like, that is not something
Those are
humans
all
can
answers
grok.
we will never get. We never get those
You know,
definite
and
answers.
We've looked
the
into the sky and we've asked questions of the divine, whatever you want to believe, and we've only been given one answer.
We all die.
Is that we all die. And yet, we keep asking questions like the next answer is going to be better. But there it is. It's right on the tin.
I mean, Gaia, like, the thing, for, like, you get to see her angels, you get to see her angels, you get to see her subordinates. Some of us that talked to her physical manifestation. It's like, you were given a job. You've seen something that's intellect and powers are almost beyond your comprehension, and it's asking you for one thing. Trust me.
Oh, yeah,
I
there's a
made
lot of
you to do a thing. And if you do a thing, the world will be better.
that. Yeah, and we'll give you plaudits that will literally make you more powerful.
Well, and the world might not be better now. Things might get worse while you're alive.
But you'll be... No, that's the thing. We don't... You're looking at the concept of alive, I think, a little too
that's
sternly.
fair. Because what is a lifetime to a Geru?
That's the point.
That is the-
I made you to be an eternal hammer. And if you strike well and true for 1,000 lifetimes, eventually you can be something else.
Well, this is something that I think is often overlooked in APOC. Is that the Geru of APOC are more similar to Tolkien's elves than you might think. They're fighting a long defeat. They're bound to the circles of the world. They're eternally reborn, and they're stuck here to do essentially a job. I mean,
They don't get the cycle everybody else gets.
Yeah.
Humans, despite some of the darkness and the wraith genre
you
and
get to
all
go
that,
home.
eventually, if you do it right, if you work your shit out, or even if you were just a person who was good enough in whatever terms that means, you just ascend to, and no one knows what that means.
yeah.
Right? It's just they know that you get to
The
check out
bitter-
of this horrible world.
The bitter
that exists.
envy that a Geru must feel for a human.
Yeah.
You get to
Right,
go
yeah.
home.
There's-
It ends for you after after a 12-hour shift. I'm ready to slit my throat. So I can't imagine after 12,000 lifetimes of doing the same job.
The Geru has no possible release from samsara at all.
There
There's
is
no
one. There is one.
Oh, they
What's
could.
that?
You can win.
Or you can do something that gets your soul destroyed.
Yes.
If you can destroy your soul, you're out.
But you can win. That's actually probably your best bet for motive. It's like, listen, you may not like Gaia. You may not even believe in the Gaia Nation. But if we can get our shit together long enough to win, it ends.
Well, we only have to win once.
That's it.
We
you
only
can
have
lose
to win once.
You can lose
Lose
10,000 times, but if you don't lose bad enough and you win once, you get to go home.
Yeah.
Or at least stop. No,
Right.
I would say at least you get to stop.
It just
get to
ends.
stop.
You get to go to Elf Home, and it just ends.
Wolf home. Elf home.
It's totally different. Toots different. We got some more text. I mean, we could probably spout off about this for another 3 hours, but I don't know if that's really time.
While the wolf can accept that human half doesn't necessitate blind following the Weaver, gave humanity the tools to undermine the very strength of the Garu. The hero knowledge of the spirit world's contemporary religion like a guy. From today, who knows how to use fire compared to a caveman's knowledge of fire. The abyss eats souls in the world of darkness, at least if memory is correct. That's what the world's starting on to shit. The prison
I think the abyss is a is a schizophrenically written thing that is also just the place where left socks go. Like, nothing is lost when it's in the abyss, because it can eventually just pop back out again, like the Lost Legion or anything.
The cosmology of Demon was an attempt to unify the various conflicting eschatologies of the world of darkness. It's good in that sense, but we really can't be bound by it as werewolf storytellers, because it really is sort of an attempt at a grand unifying theory that Werewolf just doesn't address.
There were some fun features that you had in the old system.
I mean, it's
where,
well done.
Where like werewolves,
Demon is well done.
Werewolves would go into the dark
I'm
umbra,
going to
and
put a cap on this for 18 more minutes.
Okay, that's
and
fair.
they'd have a shadow with equal angst to their rage, because they've had a shadow for the last 10 million lifetimes that desperatly wants them to die and have release.
Could you imagine?
I
This
actually
is the
love
worst shadows in the
angry
world.
that thing
I
is?
actually love this idea of, and this is something you could do in Revised, but using certain splat books read the right way, is when you send a Geru into the Shadowlands, the effect they get is that the immortal part of their soul wakes up. And it's like, oh God, I'm here.
We need to stop.
Please stop. Oh God. I've been doing this for 120 million years. Please stop.
You know what? You know what I would love to play. It won't work in the game, but it'll work for a tabletop. You go to the Shadowlands, your mortal soul wakes up, and it completely rearranges you to being somebody far better at your job, but someone completely different. Mm-hmm. You come back and they're like, oh, what's up, Bob? And you're like, yeah, I'm Bob. And they're like, remember that thing?
Like
no, that has been deleted. Right. I am.
You've returned from the desert with a shock of white hair.
Yes, and you are infinitely better at being a Philodox, but terrible at everything else. Because your immortal soul is like, the better I Philodox, the more likely this thing is going to be dead. So that's how you re-roll your character mid-cron.
Well, the other thing that's really interesting in his APOC is, after first edition, this includes revised, they took out all memory of past lives. While you have been reincarnated 1 billion times, you get absolutely no mechanic for that.
Could you imagine waking up and realizing...
Well, you get the ancestors back.
But
that is not your...
That's not yours. That's other people.
Those are not your past lives.
Imagine waking up and realizing that your best friend was your worst enemy and your worst enemy was your truest love.
I think it's a kindness, honestly, to werewolves to not have
and
memories of
I
past
hate
lives.
that. I hate that kindness. Snap it back. All of a sudden, you'll imagine having to play a character and then getting a sudden playing against a character and getting a sudden flash that this was your brother who's taken 1,000 spears for you. This is your lover who you shared endless nights with, and this was also the grand betrayer that took everything you loved. Well, at the same time,
I think it would be an amazing
person.
endgame if the Striders ever do what they want to do and break the curse, and then they find their lives completely unlivable with the knowledge of all the lives they've led.
Well, the waters of Lethe are a blessing. I mean,
and I don't
drink
believe
the waters
in
of
blessings.
forgiveness is a
The
blessing.
river-
It is a grace.
I don't believe it's blessings. I think we should lose that blessing. I believe in curses.
Yes, but if somebody might use it to get +1 in their dodge pool.
No, just make it all negs and no one will want it.
Not everybody gets to cross the Lethe more than once. Yeah.
Oh yes, absolutely.
I agree with you. Stop agreeing with me. That way lies madness.
What was said?
I agree with Dark Puppy. If a Geru honestly remembered the thousand lifetimes they did of dying tragically, dying horrifically for Gaia, watching everyone around them fail, watching everyone around them fall.
Whoa. You're being too heroic. Imagine all the lifetimes you misspent.
Yeah, and the times you failed. I think that would...
It's also hard to write sheets. Why is my drive so low? I've been driving since the car was invented. Also riding horses. No. Also chariots.
But his point is that would be a terrible weapon of the worm against Geru.
Oh God!
No, just walk up to you and be like, remember.
You know, I think they tried to do that with Fear of the Void Below, the Daimonian power, but you could. It seems like it would be much better as some sort of horrible PSD gift, or if it was
could you imagine going
with the memory of 10,000 lifetimes?
Well, no, it's something simple. Imagine having to go back to your pack and realizing that the people you trust most in this lifetime are the people who betrayed you in every other.
Yeah.
Well, and it's worse than that because, you start talking about things like Nietzsche's eternal recurrence, where every lifetime has actually been exactly the same as this one, and you've been living it over and over again.
Yeah,
do you
learn nothing?
Do you curse the angel who gives you that wisdom, or do you bless them as a very...
But imagine it being different. You remember everybody in your pack, and in a long enough timeline, everybody is all things. So everybody in your pack has been your lover. Everybody in your pack has been your brother. Everybody in the pack has been your worst enemy, betrayer, your salvation. Everybody in your pack has been your victim, who you've betrayed unnecessarily. Yes, and you remember all of that at the same time, and they're looking at you solely through the lens of this lifetime, and you cannot deal.
I'd say it should probably stun them, much like mine.
Well, if you want to go full Hindu, there's only one soul, and it's just Vishnu eternally living every possible life and role. I mean, yeah, I don't know how you do that mechanically in a game. Also, we're talking about a game. It's important to remember that sometimes.
No, don't ever call it that. If it's just a game, then I'm just gonna go play Boffer.
No, I don't mean it's just.
Hang on.
I don't
Everything
mean
is
that.
just a game. That is not an insult, and it shouldn't be taken
It
as
should
a pejorative.
It might bring you closer to them because you can understand every betrayal.
Yeah, fair enough.
You can forgive every sin when you realize you've sinned against every one of them. You've done them worse than they're doing you. You have to let that go. You might achieve enlightenment.
I think one of
but you'll be incredibly
Well,
lonely.
we only had one... I had an NPC that had achieved perfect enlightenment of all of this last chronicle, and everyone hated him, and then he was murdered.
Yes.
There was one perfect man, and they crucified him. Deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. People got pissy that I got so messianic with the perfect metas.
With Werewolf Jesus.
Well, what
He really is. I mean,
what do you want from me?
It's on the tin. You didn't make it up. I think that when I use the term just
Well,
a
no.
game,
Hang on. The Perfect Menace was not Jesus. What he was the epitome of everything a Geru should be, and he had transcended tribe and clan and everything. He was just a perfect Geru, and he was hated for it, and eventually murdered by PC Action, which I'm fine with. I thought that was awesome. But somebody who does achieve that level of gnosis Iggy's talking about will probably be hated for it, understandably, because nobody likes a know-it-all.
right?
No one likes someone who forgives them.
I think
It
I've
hurts
mentioned
them.
it in another stream, but a game can be very important. There's thousands of employees and entire careers and literal life or death with the NFL, right? The people have died on the field. People have made whole careers over just treating the injuries of people playing that game. Football's still just a
Movies
game.
about it.
Right, football's still just a game. And saying that
Millions
it's just a game,
upon billions of dollars get moved around.
there's also great historical quotes on like it just being war.
Right.
Like war is the men like war because it's the only time women take us seriously. It's a great famous quote. Like, look, I'm just quoting random.
Not gonna
wits.
say it hasn't got me laid.
It's just one of those great witticisms of the past. Everything is just something, and that's reductive.
Oh my
It's
God, that
it's
would be-
also
that would
art
be
or
the
not art,
best.
or beauty or truth.
That would
that?
literally be the best. If you guys went somewhere and you were the only one that got lethal, and everybody remembers everything you've done bad to them in your lifetime in your pack, and you're the only one's like, hey bro, why is everybody mad at me?
Well, and for what's worth, mechanically,
I do think it is lethy.
I'm sure it is.
mechanically, those stories can be told with things like the Legendary Realm. The Legendary Realm is like the infinite well of storytelling.
Oh, you could. There was a conversation about the just the regular werewolf discussion group, and somebody was like, "Oh, how do you do like a whole, like,
Goes into the Umbra.
umbral fuckery?" And I was like, "Well, it could be interesting if you go to the legendary realm, and you have a complete life, which I think a PC did last Chronicle and
Two Chronicles ago. That
two
was
Chronicles
Dan's
ago.
character.
Fucking
Right.
Dan.
Have a whole life and a marriage, kids, and then you come back to the real world and you're like, does any of that? You're just older, and then you realize all of that was a fiction, and it's sort of like the Rick and Morty, like
Roy.
he's
Yeah,
taking
Roy.
Roy off the map. But like
You went back to the carpet store?
right, which could be real. What's even darker about that is, what if your family and everything that you built over the course of time and lost all those years to still exist, but only in the legendary realm?
Right.
Like, how easy are you to corrupt at that point?
Well, I mean-
or at least fall into some sort of bizarre Harana spiral.
Well, if you're a storyteller looking for a story like that, I mean, the Inner
There are
Light.
tools.
The Inner Light is regarded as the best episode of Star Trek: Next Generation. It covers that and it does it perfectly, and it would work fine in Werewolf. You could totally run a storyline like that. So if you want to break from the normal routine of the game, toss them in the Legendary Realm. Put them in another story. Have the characters playing roles that aren't theirs.
Yeah,
There's
the
infinite
Umbral
storyteller
realms
there.
are so good for that.
Take,
if you wanna,
take the two characters
if you wanna
that take the
spice
two
things
players
up.
whose characters loathe each other, make them brothers.
Yeah, you can do shit like that. It's a great storytelling opportunity.
You shouldn't feel too, restricted, because you do have these umbral realms, and there is the ability to tell basically any kind of story that you really want to. It might not be Chronicle long, but it's certainly, if you have the player base for it, it's certainly something you can explore.
Well, I mean,
It's not wrong with that.
if I was running a local game again, I was thinking of doing things like once a year have a session where the characters are. There's some local Umbral realm where the players get stuck into it once a year, and you shuffle up the roles, you shuffle everything up, and then make them just live different lives for a session. There's so many good role playing opportunities there.
Make them the bad guys for a session. Not forever, but for a session.
Yeah.
Or at least part of a session.
A session where you have to relive the Cairn Racing, the original one, where you're stuck and you have to redo it. And
Or
some
if
of you were in different roles.
If you go to the battlegrounds or Scar or whatever, you could do the opposite, where you get to play, like, you get to be the Black Hats for a change, and at least try to view the world from their point of view. Or you can play it Nefandi like, this is a terrible experiment, it was noble, but it's got to end.
I mean, one story I thought about doing for National when I was running the National event last year was one thing we could have done is the story in the Legendary Realm is Alaska, and you're in roles of people who did die, and now you're stuck replaying this drama over again. I didn't do it for a variety of reasons. We had to deliver some National plot stuff, but that sort of thing is interesting, and you can redo the characters' big Chronicle-wide mistakes in the Legendary Realm. It's awesome. There's huge potential. Yeah.
Why is Benedict a badass?
Because he's watched every battle over. He's watched every battle. He's played out every battle from every potentiality.
You belong to a sept whose totem's that of war. and he brings you the
go to the battleground.
He brings you the Karen's greatest failures and greatest victories. Then he makes you play from the losing side to teach you something.
Yeah.
The only way he can do it is to make you be those characters, and you get to die.
That's fun stuff.
Yeah, and then the
It's
battle.
also the only way to get out of the battlegrounds. It's
Yeah.
like to completely subsume players' natural instincts to just grab onto their sheet with both hands and never let go.
The cruelest
It's like, no, if you want out, you
in
kinda
the
have
old
to die.
days, it's a lot harder to do now, but in the old days, it's making players unsure if they're in the battleground or not.
Right.
Oh my god, they will clutch and grab, not sure what to do. They will never trust you again about anything. It's good. Alright guys, it's been 3.5 hours for some damn reason.
Any pressing closing things? Because even I'm like, this has been enough. I think we've really...
This will be our last show before National. People who are going to National, just say yes. Get involved.
Say yes and.
Yeah, yes and. Absolutely.
See what it
Yeah,
did
no,
there?
yes and is what you want to be doing. Just embrace that, and we'll talk after that. And of course, I'll always be where I always am, easy to find. Anything you guys want to say?
I'm in the funny pages. People can look me up.
I'm on Facebook. Your book's in the mail, by the way. You know who you are. Well, it's going to be in the mail tomorrow. I have it packaged up. I'm
You'll get it eventually.
I'm extraordinarily lazy. And I enjoy role playing with you guys, and roll with ROLE. You guys are great. I've role played with a bunch of people all over the world. I've role played a bunch of different systems, and I have rarely had as much fun with any group of people than the random assortment of people that MES has thrown my way. It's been an honor, it's a privilege, and I hope to see more of all of you. Some people especially. What's up, Evlock? And some people I don't know. Come my way, and let's have some fun.
All right. Be well, everybody.
Take care.
Mahalo.